Hey, what's good? What's good, y'all? It's your boy DJ Lil King, Riding High Podcast, Riding High with DJ Lil King. We back with another special episode, you know what I'm saying? One of the pioneers, OGs of this Corpus music scene, been putting this shit down, man, since the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Man, a long list to go through. The big Mr. Big Business, you know what I'm saying? Mr. selling out the Havana Club downtown, you know what I'm saying? That was it, right? The Havana?
Havana
Mr. Selling
Club.
out the Havana, Mr. 1K, man.
Yeah.
Man, we got Mr. J-Stylez up in the building, you know what I'm saying?
Good. It's good, everybody.
For sure. Shit, man, like we always do, man, we're going to start off from the beginning. Where is J-Stylez originally from, man?
Corpus Christi, Texas. Oak Park area, baby. I guess they call it the Northwest, man. It's Driscoll Middle School, Miller High School. Those my roots. That area there, man.
Already. What elementary did you go to? Oak Park?
Crossley. No, I went to
Okay.
Crossley Elementary, man. Right in Hillcrest, man. They done tore it down now. So a lot of memories there, man. So, I was a Bobcat, man.
Already.
Y'all know that Bobcat Corner for every Friday, Bobcat Corner. Across the street from Sam's Barbershop. Y'all know what it is, man. So, yeah, Crossley Elementary, man.
So you lived in the Oak Park neighborhood and you went to Crosley?
Yeah, went to Crossley. So,
Is there an Oak Park Elementary?
yeah, it's Oak Park Elementary
How
at the
did
time.
you not go to Oak Park and go?
Well,
Let's hear that story.
so basically, man, I had family that was from the neighborhood, man. I had uncles and aunts that stayed in Hillcrest and Northside and stuff, man. And, my dad and them, they kind of wanted me to be around, more of my family members, man, and stuff.
Already.
So, my grandma stayed on Dempsey, and it was just better for me to go there, man. Everybody knew each other, man. So, either way, I could have went to Oak Park, I could have went to Crosley, but my dad and them chose Crosley, man. That's just, and I actually loved it, man. It was better for me to be there than anything, man. So, it was good.
You went there from like kindergarten all the way to fifth grade?
All the way to fifth grade, yeah, man. All the way to fifth grade. So, like I said, man, I developed a lot of friends, man. Got a lot of friendship to different people, man, and met a lot of people. And I still stay in contact with some of my partners, man, that I knew since kindergarten, first grade, man. And it's crazy, man. I got a message from one of my partners the other day, and he was like, "Man, I remember you in first grade, man. When we used to." Be on the monkey bars, man, and running around in PE and, having fun on the blacktop and stuff, and kind of just brought back memories, man. But, yeah, y'all know Crosley, man. There's no more, man. They done tore it down and, trying to take over everything in there, really, pretty much, man,
Did you play like any sports or anything like as a youth?
Oh, yeah,
In
yeah.
elementary school?
Yeah.
No, not at the elementary school, but like during elementary time, did you play any sports?
No, not in my elementary time. I think it wasn't until
You play like City League basketball?
yeah,
football?
with City League basketball I played. Yeah, my dad, rest in peace, Otis Johnson.
R.I.P.
He was a real, I guess like a big advocate for like the youth, man. He was always trying to help people out, and so like he took over a team. They had the the kind of little North Side Night League, man, and he was Upshaw and all of them were down
Already,
there.
hell
Upshaw
yeah.
and all of them.
Hell
So
yeah.
we had a little little group that we had down there, man. I played at Coles. We had a little Coles little group that we had. So my dad actually was he became a coach, because I guess he got tired. As a father, you feel like you could always do better. I don't want my kid. I could coach better than that coach. So I played like City League ball, man. But then he took over, and he coached me, and then it just went from there, man. I kept evolving from there. So
That was like at the Northside Night League, or that was like just within like
it
the whole
was
city?
it actually was a night league. So when I played, man, it was at TCR's.
Yeah, hell
They had
yeah.
the little blacktop or whatever, and it was just different teams. Sometimes we have like 2 or 3 games in one night, man. So that's where it all basically where it all started from. I played in that night league, and then it evolved to like the city league, the Natatorium City League.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And then
hell yeah.
I still got photos of that, man. I think I was hooping in like low top. I don't even know what they were. We won the Air Force Ones back then, man. But we didn't have like real basketball shoes, XJ 900s,
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I played, like I said, I played City League and went from there, man. And it was just, we had a blast, man. We had a lot of fun back in them days, man.
Did you ever like go like out of town or out of state or anything like with the basketball, like as a youth?
Yeah, so I think my dad wound up hooking up with Keith Lewis and Larry Porter. My bad.
Oh, really?
Larry
Mr.
Porter.
Already.
And man, I can't even remember the name of the team, man. But back then they had Showtime, which was like the Lakers.
The Showtime Lakers.
That which is like
Putty,
Jamal.
Putter.
Putter. So we kind of like
Putter,
piggybacked off that. So they was already the Beniers and all them. They already had they little group going, and they was traveling. And so Larry Porter and I think Keith Lewis, and then my dad kind of got together. And I can't remember the name of the team, but yeah, man, we traveled and we did AAU ball. That's when like AAU was AAU back then.
Hell yeah.
You know, it wasn't no $800 to get in and get your team in. And $90 per person. You know, that's.
I say $20 to get in to get in.
Yeah,
man. One game and shit. Nowadays.
Straight up, man. Straight up.
Shit.
So yeah, man. We my dad kept me very active, man. He was always, he kind of kept me away from the streets, man. I mean. Like I tell people, man, anything that I did was on me, man, because my dad did everything he could, to keep me away from anything that was going to get me into trouble, man. So he was real active, man. Was real active when it came to sports, man.
Already, shit.
Yeah.
Middle school time come. What middle school you end up going to?
I wound up going to Driscoll. So where my mom currently is now, the home she stays in now, we probably the oldest family on that neighborhood, man, the Blue Bonnet area, Driscoll.
Already.
And so I went to Driscoll, man. I went to Driscoll, 6th grade all the way to 8th grade or 7th, 6th through 8th, whatever. Yeah, 6th through 8th, I think it was. And then, like I said, from there I went to Miller. But, yeah, at Driscoll, man, I was at Driscoll the whole time, man. And, like I say, met a lot of people there. That's where a lot of my fan base, a lot of my friends and stuff, I was just from that neighborhood, man. I grew up with a lot of – the area I'm from, man, is like, it was a lot of – mainly Hispanics in that area, man.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of love from the Hispanic community, man. Like, cause I was there. I was in the heart of everything,
Really?
So I get a lot of my pops like, man, the essays, man, they love you, man. They really ride with you, man. I say, man, cause I grew up with them, man.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? I was practically one of them,
Out there playing with them.
Playing with them, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, straight up, man. We hop on our BMX bikes and, go get hot Cheetos and snow cones. Back in those days, man, when they had them Raspas and, we go get our snacks and ride our bikes. And, back then when everything was everything, man, there wasn't no, we had kidnapping and stuff like that. But we was as a group, man. We didn't send, my mom didn't send us out by ourselves.
Yeah.
We all went as a group. So if you messing with one, you messing with us all. You got to take us all. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it was, man. Like I say, Driscoll, Oak Park area, man. That's where I was at.
Did you play sports in middle school?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I played basketball. My 7th grade year, played basketball, and I think my 6th grade year too. I can't remember, man. It's been so long. I've been out of high school like over 20-something years.
Oh, really?
So middle school, man, 30-something, But yeah, man. I played basketball. Like Jamal Lucas, Jacoby Smith.
What was your graduation class?
I graduated in 01.
Okay, man. So you was with Jamal Lucas.
I was with Jamal,
already.
Yeah. So
Julius and all them.
Julius,
already.
Julius,
Damn.
yeah. So I'm, we that group right there, man.
Already.
So Chris Lewis and all.
Who was all over there at Driscoll on that Driscoll team, if you remember?
At that Driscoll, on that Driscoll squad, we had a little squad, man. So it was always like a rivalry between like Driscoll and West Oso. So back then, like DuBois was kind of like doing like he was helping us out and like coaching us also like with like a little city league. So the Rangers, it was like the Rangers, and we play against West Oso. They got the best of us. They would always get the best of us. But back then, man, like I say, it was me, of course, Marcus Henderson. They called me Little Marcus, and they had Big Marcus.
Already.
It had R.J. Henderson. Jamal, it was a bunch of us, man. I'm trying to see who else is on that team.
I would have thought y'all's rival would have been like Winseal. That wasn't like a rival.
Yeah, Winseal too.
Okay,
we rivaled against Winseal. Yeah, Xavier Howard played for Winseal. I think Anthony Sanders too. Rest in peace, my dog Anthony. I want to say he went to no, he was at Driscoll.
Okay.
I think, but I want to say he was at Winseal for a little bit too. Maybe not. I can't remember. But I know he wound up going to Driscoll. He wound up being at Driscoll. But, yeah, man, Winseal was one of our rivalries, too. I forgot it was on the east side, pretty much. They call that the east side. But, yeah, we that was our rivalry, too, man. But
that was live at Driscoll.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I didn't play football. Football I never played, man.
Already.
I was always there, but I didn't ever do football. But those groups right there were, like, the main rivalries, man, when it came to, like, sports, like, and it was crazy because, like, a lot of the community would come watch us play, man. Like, I remember – when I was it had to be like 7th. It was 8th grade. It was 8th grade because I was going to 9th. And I remember the Miller varsity boys came and watched us play at Driscoll.
Oh, really?
So back then it was like Coach Wall. I think he had just become the coach there.
Yeah.
I remember like all the OGs coming in and watching us play, man. And it was a good to see that purple and gold sitting up in, and it's like, man, like we getting ready to go to the next level. Like this is our
goals the fucking
That's where it's at, man. So. They actually came, man, and I don't know what sparked them to do it, but the whole staff was there. The coach and he had the varsity group went and they came and watched us, man. 8th graders, So it was a good thing, man.
Y'all didn't win like no city championships or nothing like that.
Yeah, I think we won city. Matter of fact, I think I still got the shirt. It has been so long, man. I think we won. Either our 7th grade year, one of those years we wound up winning city champs.
Damn,
we wound up winning city champs. But like I say, man, a lot of people from the neighborhood would come out and come watch us, like the way how Miller was, in these last couple of classes.
With the football.
That's how it was with us. Like we had like them gyms, like they were packed, man, and we was little kids back then, And we had like a lot of the old school cats, man. Like I say, rest in peace to Du-Bois Lister, man. He was one of the main ones that was there. You'd hear him, man, all day. You'd hear him, miss his voice, man. But yeah, he'd be there with us, man, and cheering us on and stuff, man.
Oh, really?
We had a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So let's go. Summer of 8th grade, getting ready to go to 9th grade, getting ready to go to Miller. Is this like a big deal to you?
Yeah.
Or it was just like, oh, this is the school we're going to because this is the neighborhood we live in. It wasn't like now we're gonna like, because I always feel like going to Miller back in those days, it was almost like nigga, we're going to almost like Georgetown type shit.
Yeah. Well, so my mom and dad and them were an alumni from there, man. So they already had it on their mind that we were gonna go there already. So to me, it was like, in a way, I never really been too much. I never had too much fear, man. But it was like you stepping into like a new era. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got there, I remember. Going and getting our clothes. That's back then we shop at like Steinmart and Burlington, and we get our little polo clothes and stuff, man. And I remember waking up, man, and going. I think I couldn't even sleep that night, man, because it's frat like it's big dog season. You know what I'm saying? When I got there, man, like I said, it was a couple of people from the neighborhood that my mom and them had grew up with, and I knew them because my mom and them knew them. And it was just different, man. I'm this little bitty old dude, man. You see all these big guys, man. A lot of these guys is sophomores, juniors, seniors already, man. So kind of just stepping into that era, man, and kind of getting around some people and knowing who's who was a big step, man. But I mean, like that first week, it was, I think everybody had the butterflies, but after that, it was gravy after that, man. I mean, I kind of adjusted and it was on. I mean, I was from the neighborhood already, so they knew me. It was just taking that stepping stone,
You played basketball and ran track at Miller, huh?
Yeah, played basketball my 9th grade year. I don't think I made varsity till like my junior year. So it was crazy, man, because I always remember I was on my way to a carnival one day. The carnival was over there at, I think at Walmart on Greenwood.
Oh, really?
And I had some fresh Dickies, the blue jean which you get from Walmart. Had them creased up, had my Emmitt Smith jersey. I'm fly, man. Got my Byzantine on. And I'm on my way out the door, man, and I think one of my partners, I think it was either Larry Pruitt, it was Haskell Hudgens. His mom was taking us over there to, we was going to the carnival, man, and when I was leaving, my mom, I heard the phone ring, and my mom called me back. She say, some man's on the phone for you, and I'm like, for what, man? Like, what? So I answered the phone, man, and it was Coach Wall, man. He was wanting me to go play basketball over there at Miller. So, I had this thing on my mind, like, man, they actually want me to be there, man. You know what I'm saying? It was actually, it was flattering, to get a phone call, So, so I told him, at the time, my mind was somewhere else. I really didn't want to talk, but he was asking where was I planning on going. I'm like, yeah, I plan on going to Miller, man. That's my stomping grounds. That's my roots. He said, man, I always remember his voice. He said, I think you'll be a really nice point guard. That was his words.
Oh, really?
I really think you'll be a really nice point guard. So I'm like, all right, man. I think we'll get it going. But at the time, my mind was already, I'm trying to get to the carnival. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear what you're saying, but I ain't listening. So when I showed up and we wound up getting, going to the sports, I think we wound up going to first period. I think I had sports or something. I get there, man, and it's like 9 other guards he didn't talk to and told the same thing to. So it's like, it really wasn't like what I thought it was, man. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm finna be the only guard. I'm finna start. I'm finna do this and do that and get there. Like I say, I'm over exaggerating, but it was like 3 or 4 other guards that played my position that he had called and done the same thing with, So it was all good though, man. I mean, it was just business, at the end of the day. But yeah, man, that was like one of my moments there, when I stepped into that, man, and did that. So yeah.
Hell yeah, shit. You ran track in all through high school too?
All through high school. So my freshman year, I lettered, right? I lettered my freshman year, and that's because I wasn't even like really like trying to even do sports. Like, well, not run no track. Like, I ran track in Driscoll a little bit here and there, but it wasn't as serious as it was when you get to high school, So I can't remember who it was. They was out there running like the 40-yard dash or whatever. And I wound up on the field somehow. I can't remember how I wound up on there, but we had a coach named Remy Rodriguez. He was our coach back then. And they wanted me to play football. I think I played football for like a year. Didn't get very much playing time, so I walked off. You know what I'm saying? I still hold a record, man. I sat in the stands and ate nachos, man. And it's funny now, man. But yeah, man.
You walked off during the game?
Yeah, man. I walked off, put my shoulder pads on and was eating nachos in the stands, man. Like that's like and if I'm lying, I'm flying, bro. Like straight up, man. Like, hey, look around, man. Man, I did it a few times, man, because back then I wasn't thinking, man, like, hey, man, you either gonna play me or I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think we wound up running or something, and the coach asked me, man, hey, man, how would you like running track? I said, man, I did a little bit in high school. I mean, in middle school, man, but I mean, it wasn't nothing that I really was trying to like pursue, Yeah. And so I went out there. I wound up running like I think the sprint relay and stuff, and then from there it took off. From 9th grade on, I was good. I wound up playing from there. Damn. So yeah, man, yeah. Little relay team, and we was good, man.
Hell yeah. Fucking Roland Whitson said, nah, he ain't lying. I remember that. He also said you tore the locker room up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I was a fool back then, man. My mind has changed, man. Like I was really like I had an anger issue, man. Like, and this is like come down. This is not nothing like I never watched.
This 16, 17-year-old.
The 16, 17-year-old. I play no games, man. So I wasn't the type that like I wasn't no bully, but I wasn't gonna get bullied either. Yeah, so I was one of them dudes, man. I was real cool, calm, and collective. But I spoke my mind like what I do now. You know what I'm saying? Like I spoke my mind. It didn't matter. I was the type. I was like a shoot first, ask questions type dude. Yeah. Man. Like I was always saying something, and it would get me in trouble later on. Like, man, maybe I shouldn't have went too far. Maybe I shouldn't have did that. But man, I remember like Roland. He tell you, man. Like, man, we go on these games, man, and it's funny now because I'm older and I'm thinking like a normal person. But back then, man, like say. When we go to these games and I didn't get no playing time, man, I was tearing the van up. I mean, the lights in the van, I'd have the van light hanging. I had all them from the 90s, the early 90s when Coach Hurd and them was there. Man, I had the basketball trophies bent back. I was breaking that ball. I had an attitude, man. Like, I really, really had a bad attitude, man. And like I say, it's funny now, man, but back then it was like, man, what the heck you doing, man? Like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, but yeah.
When does the rapping thing first start for you?
So the rapping thing started my sophomore year. So so we was running track, and of course I know you had Mr. C on here with Sir Tones at the time, and we was running track. It was me, Curtis Tones, and Willie Nichols, and I think Willie was running track. Yeah, Willie was running track as well.
Already.
And I can't, we would. So I was the type of dude, man. I didn't never really show up to like practice. I was just like I would just show up to the track. Yeah.
To the meets.
I worked at Taco Bell like part-time, so I was more into like...
Did you have an excuse to not go to practice, or you was
I really didn't. So really like the coach really didn't give me no problems because it was always like, well, why Marcus? So basically I get up in the morning, I walk to school with my strength shoes on. Yeah. I go to practice in the morning, first period, and then from first period, it'll go on into PE or whatever it was. Yeah. And from there, I would go, do my classes or whatever. And then after school, if I didn't have to work, because I worked at Taco Bell full time. I mean, it was part time really. And I would get off school at like 4, and I go to work from like 5 to like 10. And I did that. And I did that like, man, all through my house because I wanted the Jays, I wanted the Byzantine, like all that stuff that I had. Like I had to buy that because like my dad, he made it clear like, I'm not finna spend my money on that. So my dad came from like a poor family. So like he made it clear like, man, it was almost to the point that where I would be scared to ask him for like money and stuff, man, because everything that I asked him for, he had like, well, what you need? Let me get $1, or what you need this dollar for? I had to write like an essay, man, of why I needed $1. So finally, I was like, man, I'm gonna go get my own dollar, man. Like I don't want to have to answer and ask. I'd rather go get my own dollar. So I started working like at the age of like 15. I wasn't even 16 yet. I started working like in October. And my birthday wasn't until January. But make a long story short, man, so I would get off school and go straight to work. So
that was your first job though, Taco Bell?
Taco Bell's, well, no, so I was in a peace program before that, but at that time you didn't have to be like 16 years or nothing like that. So what it was like kind of like a recreational type deal, and I worked with Curtis. It was like a peace program is what it was. So we got paid, we clock out, but we would do like community work. So like that was back then where off of Airline, where the Whataburger is, there used to be an alternative school there.
Yeah, so Corpus Christi Alternative.
Yes, so that's where we
where
worked
Lowe's
at.
is right now.
Right. So that right there was where that was like my first job. Like that was through like the city. Like you had to go downtown and get, they give you time cards. We had like little time cards, and what we would do, we go to school, we go to work from I think it was like maybe like 7 a.m. to like 5, or like 4 or something like that. And it's been so long, man. But I remember it being called the Peace Program, and that's where me and Curtis, we would write our lyrics and do our stuff in there. Curtis used to do like he used to do dances in the sand, so we do like beach cleanup, right? And so like we'd be walking, man. I always remember, man, we'd be walking like at the beach, cleaning up stuff. We'd have them little things to pick up the trash. And Curtis was like dancing. He had a thing for like dancing. Yeah. So one day, man, the boss was with us, man. I think his name was Mr. Mott. And we walking, man. We all in a group picking up trash. So Curtis, he was doing this little dancing and stuff, man. And he made a circle, like a barrier around the boss, man. But when he did it, he was sliding his feet. When he was sliding his feet, he was kicking sand on the guy, man. And he was doing it, and he sprayed sand everywhere, man. And I bust out laughing. Then one time we was working on a roof. We had to do like roof work. He was on the top of the roof where the pitch is, and he was doing the dance on the roof. Like, man, we did some wild stuff, man. Like, we really, really. So, like I said, going back to the track thing. Yeah. I was one of them players that I wouldn't say that I didn't need practice, but I was bringing back medals. Like, I didn't push myself like how I really probably should have. Like if I would have lifted the weights, if I would have came to practice every day, I was just going, and every other day I was going. So the days
just winning off of talent.
It's going off talent, man.
Really?
I'd show up because Saturdays I didn't work, so they had me working like during the weekend. On the weekends I was mainly off because we'd have like basketball tournaments and stuff. So I would have to have it off. So like, I mean, when I would get off, man, I'd go straight to work, and I would always hear him like, "Why, man? What Marcus don't have to go to practice, man?" Well, Marcus is bringing back. He's bringing back trophies. He's the one bringing back the medals and stuff, man. It was kind of a little unfair, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, I basically just went off talent, man, and then that's where it went from there. So then, with that, I was running track, and then we wound up coming up with a little group called Styles Incorporated.
Was y'all like just freestyling with each other? Like, how does that even to y'all even think of like to come up with a group? Was each one of y'all rapping individually?
No, so actually, I never was even thinking about rapping. Like Willie was like the one who like started it all. Like he was the one, because Willie always was. He was like 10 steps ahead of us when it came to like music. So back then we had like Walkmans. So we'd have our headphones on. We had like little Walkmans with tapes. He was already like on the locks. He was already on like a lot of the New York stuff, the Dipset. Like I had never really heard about that. I was more like into like a 3-6 Mafia type dude. I was always like a beat person. I would listen to your beats first, and if the beat caught my attention, then I listen to what you was talking about. Yeah, if the beat was trash, I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? And as I grew, I started, man, it's not a way to be, man, because a lot of songs that I like now, the beats aren't really like to my liking, but what they talking about is, so now it became like vice versa, man. So Willie was already ahead of our time, man, and we be in our windsuits, man, and at that time we go to the track meets, and when you run your race, you may do field events, or you may do the 100-meter dash, and then the sprint relay may not be till like 4 or 5 hours later on. So then we go up under the little, the little bleachers and lay down. Yeah. So Willie would always be up in there rapping and I really can't remember exactly how it came about, but I do remember like going with him to like Northside and the little projects, and we go to Curtis's house because Curtis' mom stayed. I can't remember the name of that street right there, but Curtis' mom stayed like in the projects there, so we go over there, we write music. And Willie's the one who came up with my name and everything. He was like, your last name Johnson, so we're gonna do Johnson style. We'll do Johnson style. So that's where J-Stylez came from. It actually was Johnson style. So Willie is the one who really Willie was like the one who like came up with like the hooks. Like he was the one like already ahead of the game already, because his mind was way developed. Like we wasn't even thinking about doing no music. Like he was already like ahead of his time already. So that's how that wound up happening. We formed a group called SLABS Incorporated. Okay. And so Curtis was real good friends with DJ Shy One. And like I say, just like Curtis said, he's another one that don't get a whole lot of credit, man. But the dude has toured. He's done so much, man. So we kind of just went off of a In My Room Records was the name of it. And like that's what we really did. Like we really literally went in the closet and recorded in a room. Oh, really? So that's where it came from. It was like nothing that they came, but Mondo was already on like the graphics. He knew like how to do the graphics, how to do. So I'm looking at the flyer, man.
And Mondo was Shy One for y'all that don't know.
Yeah, Mondo was Shy One, and so he was already like on the graphics. He was already on like doing like the album covers. He was already doing that already, man.
So he was doing like No Limit style covers.
Yes,
and stuff like that,
yes, he
like
was.
That.
Like I mean, like you look at it now because of course technology, but like the lettering was real fuzzy. Like a lot of that stuff was like. But it was back then. It was cool. Yeah. So like the SLABS Incorporated cover, like I took that. We all took that like at school. We were at school when we took that. Willie had the lollipop in his mouth, and Curtis was standing with his arms crossed, and then I had like on a chap shirt with some blue jeans and some K-Swiss, like, and we used that as an album cover, man. And it just became, and like back then, like when we was recording, I would hate to, man. I'd be at that thing dang there with my shirt off, man, sweating so much because. Yeah. When we it was no punching in back then. Like no. You mess up and back then, we writing. So I'm in a closet with a little bitty old light with foam, and I'm trying to read my lyrics. So I'd get all the way to like that last bar and mess up, and there we go from the top. And man, it was like, man, I would get so, and I hated it, man. I'm like, man, y'all can't punch us in, but back then it didn't sound as good. So we didn't have the technology we had then. So you mess up, right back to the beginning. Yeah, and I was always the one. Willie would go on that, man, 2 or 3 takes. I was one of the ones that was taking a while, man, because, like, I get nervous. Like, that pressure is on. So, like, Willie would start it off, and then sometimes I'd be second, or Curtis would be second, and then I'd go third. So, like, after hearing they 2 verses and how quick they did it, I'd get in there, and just on the strength of how quick they did it, it would worry me. Like, man, like, the pressure's on, man.
Hell yeah.
Or I'd get everything done, man, and I'd spit the bars and then come back and do my doubles, and then sometimes triples, and then I do my ad-libs and mess up on the ad-libs. And there we go from the beginning, doing that. It was a good experience.
That was the beginning of your rap career, basically.
That was the beginning, yeah. Man. And literally, like I said, we literally recorded in a room. So it actually, he came up with a logo, like all that, man, and we just kind of ran with it. It was no, like, signing no contracts and nothing like that. It was just like, hey, man,
we having fun making
music. We having fun, man. We having fun,
So y'all actually put out the SLABS Inc. project?
We did. Dang. So with that project, as a matter of fact, Curtis
still in high school,
and we were recording. We were going I think like on the weekend, sometimes during the week. So when we got there, man, when we get there, like, there was cookies and stuff, like Mondo's dad and them, they were real good people, man. So really? Like they had snacks and stuff ready for us. They like took us in like as if we were their own, man. And really? It was more like it was more fun than like business. So like we wasn't really trying to be rappers. We were just doing it just to do it. Like it was just something for us to do. And it just kind of like took off. Like people started hearing about it, and it kind of just like took off. Yeah. So he had got this track that we did called Forever Ball, and that's what really like took us, like, that's when everybody really started like listening. So there was this track called Forever Ballin', and the beat went like dun 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 dun. So Mondo put like some drums and some hats in the back, and the beat was bang. I think we wound up professionally doing it. We recorded it at Jerry, I think it was like Brick House back then, Brick House Studios. I think that was right there off Ayers. But this was like years ago. So we recorded it, and that song wound up being on the radio. I don't know. I don't even know how it got on the radio or if Mondo talked to somebody. But I do remember it being on the radio. And that right there just kind of like it just kind of took us, like, we still had no managers. We had none of that. We were still just going off like what we knew. We weren't even selling the music. Like, we were just known around town for the three guys that did music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what we were. That's just what we did. So, like, Mondo was doing the beats. He wasn't getting paid off the beats. He was just making them out of love, man. He was making beats and just doing whatever, basically, you know. And we whatever Willie liked, we take it to Northside, right to it. We go over it. I let Willie hear my verse. He let me know if it was trash because I valued his opinion, you know. So we get in there. And Curtis was the only one that would probably get in there and like really freestyle. Sometimes he'd get in there, man, and he'd be doing his lyrics. And if he'd mess up 2 or 3 times, he'd throw the paper away and just be saying whatever, man. Like it just and it went with the beat. Like it.
That's what he was saying on his interview. That a lot of that early stuff he was just freestyling.
He really was, man. Like, and we get in there, man. And I was the type of dude, man. I'd write. Willie was like always ahead. So when Willie would get there, he'd write, get his verse done, go in there and spit, and the pressure was on because like. I'm looking at everybody finishing their verses, and I'm barely like on bar 3. I got a 16, and I can't even get past the 3rd bar because I'm like, and while I'm writing, the beat's playing, and Willie's he's rapping it while he's got it there. So I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm listening to what Curtis saying. I'm writing, and I'm like, man, I can't even compete. I gotta it was back then. It was hard to come after Willie. Like when Willie was spitting, you had to come with it like after that because. Yeah. He already had the fan base. He was from the North Side. They knew him already. He already had his name was already buzzing already, but his lyrics and stuff was already there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like me and Curtis were kind of like, we were there, but we weren't. Willie's the one who took it the most serious out of all of us, you know? Oh, really? So it kind of just like, you know, it just did its thing from there, man. And that's just how it wound up going, man.
So y'all just do it the one project under the SLABS Inc.? Under the
SLABS Inc., we did that one project.
What was the name of it?
It was the group. It was called SLABS Incorporated. It was SLABS Incorporated. The name of the album was man, I can't even remember the name of the album, man. It's been so long, man. I gotta pull that. Yeah, if you got that cover, pull it up because that'll make me remember, man.
Man, search on. Let me see.
If I go to my email, I'm almost positive. Let me see.
Oh dang! I thought he had sent it to me, but I don't have it in here.
Let me see.
He sent me a bunch of other stuff, but I thought he had sent me that one, but he don't. But I know exactly what cover you're talking about, though.
Let me see if I can. Let me go to my email, man, and see.
Alrighty. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in, man. Y'all make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Riding High Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all share this video, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody watching it live. Everybody who goes back and watches this later on. Mr. J-Stylez is in the building, man.
No, I ain't got it in here.
It's all good. We'll put it up later, and then we'll post it in the comments for y'all to see. Man, so what happens after the SLABS Inc. thing kind of like, and how does it like kind of like fade away?
So with that being said, so like after that, we kind of wind up doing, this when we started like kind of like doing shows, like little shows here and there.
Okay, bet as the SLABS Inc.
As the SLABS Inc.
Okay, bet.
So what wound up happening, I think, so Mondo kind of took off. Because Mondo was like in a different, his style was like totally different than what we had. So like he had a totally different fan base. Like he was into like, you know, the deep, dark.
Like horrorcore almost.
Yeah, man. And to most people, like, even at me, I was like, man, this is kind of weird, you know, because I'm so used to listening to what
we consider like normal rap. Yeah.
But he was already like on some other stuff. So
darker than 3 6 Mafia was going.
Like darker. Like I was, you know, I listened to 3 6 Mafia quite a bit, man, but I was never like into like the Lord Infamous and stuff, and you know, Dragon Fetus is out. And I didn't really, you know, and Mondo wasn't like that. His style wasn't like that, but he was like more like, you know, Black Contacts. Like it was just different, you know, and he kind of took off with it, man. He just started doing like the Periwinkle thing, and then he kind of like took off with it. So the group kind of we just kind of dispersed. Like everybody kind of started doing their thing, and then that's when Willie kind of like started like doing his thing and, you know, getting the buzz. And I want to say Willie went to Miami for a little bit and then came back. So when he went over there, he accumulated like more stuff. He started learning more stuff and then came back with more stuff. And then we just kind of like took a break. Everybody just kind of took a break. We was kind of just doing our own thing. And then that's when it kind of just, you know, the group just kind of just, you know, just everybody kind of went their own way after that, man. It just, but we still kept our song. So then, our partner Anthony Sanders had passed away. He got killed right before our senior year. So we did a track for that. And Mondo actually had got like a clip from the news feed.
Already.
Put it on there. And I was listening to it the other day, man. And back then, of course, we didn't have like it was no mixing, no mastering. You just get in there, lay raw vocals, do your thing,
hell yeah.
and then we just, the beat didn't
Just
have
happy
no
to
level.
just hear yourself back.
Yes.
Like, that's what we always say. We was just so happy to hear ourselves back then. Like, that was big stuff back
It was,
then.
man.
Shit,
It was.
hell yeah.
And to listen to it now, I'm like, man, like, I guess our ear was different because I'm like, man, the vocals, like everything was like weak on that, man. Like, but at that time, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So like we put that track out, and that track right there like really took off because it kind of hit home because it was just an accident. Something happened and he wound up being at the wrong place at the wrong time, wound up passing away, and then that kind of like shook everything, man, because now we going into our senior year and this guy's we burying one of our good friends,
classmates,
and so like Anthony was real close to me, man, because he had my back, because like back then, folks tried it, but I was always with it, what I'm saying? So they tried to like do little things, and we was freshmen, they tried to take off lunch and do, but Anthony was the one that kind of like spoke up, like, hey man, don't allow them to do that, man. Like, hey, if you got a problem, let me know. So that's why I was kind of like personal, man. Like whenever he passed away, it was like, it took a lot out of us, man. So we wrote the song, we did the song, and we put it out, and we just got a buzz from that, man. And like not trying to make no money off of his name or nothing like that. We were really doing it from the heart, and then people started listening to it, and then that's how we met a lot of people just through that. Like a lot of people still remember us from that track. You know what I mean?
Really?
So
that was with Styles Inc., huh?
That was with Styles Incorporated. Yeah, because the track was actually.
Y'all perform that? Did y'all ever get a chance to perform that?
No, we never got a chance to do that song. We never
really?
did that. That song we never wound up doing. We kind of just kept that for like our personal use. We gave it to his mom, his sisters, and brothers. Like that was more like for the family because it was really like going through.
But it still kind of gained like a little hood.
Like people knew about it. Like I had
fame.
Yes, man. Like it really it took off, man. It started making noise, and people was loving it, and they knew us from making that track for Anthony, man. And so I always remember, man, Willie Harper. I don't know if you know Willie Harper. He's a coach.
Yeah, Big Willie. Okay, because he got the son Willie.
He's
Harper,
got little
so
Willie.
Willie.
Yeah.
Already.
So little Willie, I don't think little Willie probably was born, but maybe
you're a youngster.
He's a youngster. Yeah. So I remember Big Willie coming in the car because he was one of our basketball coaches at Miller, and playing against Anthony Sanders, man, like I was a good ball handler back then. I hated when Anthony got on me, man. When Anthony got on me, it was gonna be a problem. He was gonna take your rock. He literally was gonna take your ball. Like I hated him to be on me, man. Like seriously. So Harper was the one, like Harper and Witt and all them. They was the one like with us while we was playing and stuff, man. And I remember Harp sitting in the car, man, sitting in one of my vehicles, and I put the CD in and I played it, and Harp got teary-eyed, man. Like he had to get out. He had to get out of the car. Like he listened to the song and he jamming. He just started crying. Yeah. Got out of his car, closed the door, and then he took off, man. Like so, I always remember that, man. Like he had tears, man. Like because what we was talking about was like real. Like I'm dead serious. So like back then, when them shoes was coming out, like when the bling blings and stuff was coming out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I had a set of fives that I had a set of the number fives, the Jordan fives, the black ones with the reflective looking tongue.
Oh, really?
So those came out and we would skip school. Like I wasn't one of the ones with a car. So we would skip like sophomore and our sophomore year I had a car. So we skip, load up and go get our shoes and then come back.
Hey.
So, like, I always remember I kept a pair of fives forever, man. I mean, they wound up getting tore up. And, when you don't wear them, they wound up disintegrating. And I wound up throwing them away years ago. But years ago, man, we went and got the shoes, and Anthony was with us. And we was at basketball. I was at basketball practice. He was at football. So we got in the car and we went together. It was me, him, and I want to say Willie was with us, too. And Anthony walked into... Back then it was Champs. They used to raise the door up and have you go in. Man, he went in there with some cutoff sleeves, football cutoff sleeves, some purple Miller shorts, and some football cleats.
Yeah.
Like he went into the mall straight like that.
Hey.
Like, and so when I put that in the song, it was reality. Like that really happened. Like that really happened. So it just brought back a lot of memories, man. Whenever that we put that track out when Willie rapped his verse, it was like. It really hit home because like me and Anthony was real cool, but I didn't like grow up with him just from what I knew from Driscoll and then from Miller on until he passed, Yeah. But Willie was like in the hood with him, so like when Willie's verse came on, it really hit home because like You know, if you hear his verse, I was listening to it the other day. I was at work and I played it, and I had Curtis to send it to me, and I was listening to it, and I was like, man, we really was ahead of our time back then. Like, if we had the right promotion, right people, like, it would have took off. But, you know, I'm a fond believer of everything happens for a reason, you know. So, but yeah, man, that's how that went.
Oh, really? So do you go solo after that, or when does Y2G come along? Is it like right after you do some solo work before that?
No, so I still hadn't put out a solo project. So once, cause see, like I say, when we was rapping, Mondo was like the one that was like real serious.
That was y'all's main studio.
Oh yeah, cause he already. His parents had already bought him the Triton. He had everything. He had all that already. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he was really, like, making beats. His dad and them investing in him. Like, he really was doing it. So, he kind of pursued his career and kept on doing what he was doing. And then that's when it transitioned over to the YTG. That's when I met J Real and then my partner Larry Pruitt. So, Larry Pruitt, that's my right-hand dog. Like, we've been together since elementary. You know, since Ducktail days, you know, Fade with a Ducktail, you know. So we created that little group. And again, Willie's the one who came up with YTG, Youngstown Click. Till this day, I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't even know what Youngstown is. We just roll with it. Whatever Willie said, because Willie was already into it already. Willie was already there already. So we just kind of went off whatever he said. And so we formed the little Youngstown group. And then that's when J Real was the producer of that. And then we took off from there. And that's when that's when we really started getting into like the shows. Back then, we wasn't really into the shows too much. We did a few here and there, a couple of little performances here and there. But once we got like with the YTG group, and Nap One was at the radio station, and then we had Lil Rich back then, like Little Rich. So when we was doing like when YTG got together and our little group got together, J Real was the producer, and J Real by this time, music has evolved. So now you have Fruity Loops, you got all these different and so QB was doing beats. So we get like Fruity Loops programs from him. We swap, and J Real would make beats, and then he give it to us, whatever. And he wasn't charging us nothing. He was just, again, another guy that was there. He had his beats and all his material set up, had Tritons, and he knew what he was doing. So then we started from there. And then that's when all the YTG stuff took off. And
because I think a lot of people get it confused. So who were the exact members of YTG?
So originally the first artists of the groups so J Real wasn't an artist. He was just like a producer. Okay. But he became an artist and became like an artist with us. So it started off with it was me, of course, J-Stylez. Okay. It was Larry Pruitt, and then it was Oscar Anderson, which was he was called Day Day back then. Day Day. Oscar Anderson, and then of course Willie. So it was up. So we started off doing our thing. We linked up with a group. K9 and them had their own little thing. So they had like that West Point connection.
Wired Up Click?
Wired Up Click. Okay, I said West Point connection. Wired Up Click. So K9, it was K9, Bo, Nut. They had their little Wired Up Click, and they had their thing going on over there. So we linked up together and made Northwest Mafia. We made like a little group. Shit. So then we did like a show. Way Out Entertainment was there, and we opened up for UGK, but Bun B didn't show up. I don't know what happened with that, but that was back then when they had the amphitheater downtown. Oh, really? And if I'm not mistaken, I got to dig and look, but I still got the rain ticket that they gave us when Bun B didn't show up. That was way back then. Damn. You see what I'm saying? So
did Pimp C show up?
They didn't. Neither one of them showed up. None of us showed up, man. And so that was like I said, that was down at the amphitheater. I can't remember who actually was throwing that show, but we did that. So like with the YTG thing, we linked up with like Lil Rich from the radio station, and we just started pitching our music to him, man. And he liked it. He doing live interviews. He started doing his thing, man. Like he was helping us out a lot. Like he'd call us, and so back then when we was opening up, like Lil Flip had just signed with like Sony. Damn, like those, like when we were doing it, like those were the times like when like, I mean, Zero, King of the Ghetto, like all, I mean, we was tearing up Hypnotic. We was like one of the main ones, like opening up at Hypnotic. Damn. And so like our fan base.
Was it still Yellow Rose back in those days probably too? Or was it already Hypnotic?
Yeah, it was Yellow Rose. Damn, yeah, back then was Yellow Rose. So we do like teen shows too. Damn, so they would have us do
I remember
like
them teen shows at the Yellow Rose. Damn.
So so Lil Rich, and like I say, a lot of the YTG thing, had a lot to do with like Lil Rich,
Really?
Lil Rich, and then King Rich also. King Rich came in and helped us out a lot. Also, he was another one that helped us out. So when Lil Rich was running the radio station, back then we had to be in the broadcast data system. We weren't BDS. We weren't with BMI. We were just putting our music on there, and none of it was getting any points. Like we were just basically just pitching it to him. So I would give it to him, and he'd tell me, "Hey man, I'm gonna go in and fit you in. Like I'll fit you in like during like the traffic hour." Yeah. So I'd be at work, man, and he'd message me, "Hey man, we're gonna chunk you in there real quick." So we had a track called "We Got That," and it was the beat went the verse was like I'm not the verse, but the hook was like "Bezatine wrapped around my neck. We got that." I can't remember the whole verse, but I wrote the hook. And that wound up on the radio. Yeah. So like by that time, people already knew I'd already gained a fan base just of the person who I was, because people knew me from the neighborhood. Yeah, and then I ran track, and then I played basketball. So like I started like just getting all the people that I knew and just letting them know. And so they started tuning into the radio. So then once the listeners started, Lil Rich was giving us a little bit of more leeway. Like we were one of the first local groups besides like K9 and them with Wired and Click. Like we were one of the ones that were on the radio, like really on the radio. And I remember being at work, man, and I'm like, man, tune in, man, like tune in. And Lil Rich would be like, you'll be on at noon. And then noon come, 12:15. 12, I done went all through my break, and they still ain't played me yet, man. So sometimes it would be like 1 o'clock before they put me on. But nevertheless, we always wind up on the radio doing our thing for that. So that got us like shows, man. We did a lot of shows at Hypnotic, a lot of shows. And like I said, at the time, Lil Flip was pulling up in Maybach, man. He just signed with Sony that $10 million deal, however many. And I got to meet Flip. I got to meet like a lot of good people, man.
And so who were some of the people that you remember opening up for under YTG? Besides Lil Flip, and you say UGK No Show. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, so it was Way Out Entertainment. I can't remember who all was on that little group there.
It was like MC West and them.
Yeah, MC West.
MC West and Lamont.
And Lamont, Lamont. Yeah, I remember Lamont. Yeah, matter of fact, he had sent me a friend request not too long ago, man. So I'm trying to see back then who all opened up. I don't think Richmond was real fond of like letting other artists. So the people that was opening up were like artists that like they brought. Locally, it wasn't like too many people that really like opened up, because like that was kind of like a closed business. Like if you didn't really know those, like if you didn't really like know Rich,
you weren't really in the dough.
You weren't in there, and if you weren't bringing a crowd, they really weren't allowing like a whole lot of people to perform. So like I don't really recall a whole lot of people like opening up. Like we would like open up like right before, but there was some groups there. Like I said, they had some people that would go in there and like sing, but a lot of the artists came from like out of town. There was a lot of out of town artists. There might be some, but I can't recollect.
Some of the big acts that y'all opened up for, like Big Mo or Zero.
Yeah, so like basically like all the Houston artists, because basically everybody that they had brought down, Rich would call and be like, hey man, y'all want to open up? And I'd be like, yeah, we'll do it. And then sometimes I would be begging him like, hey, Rich, can we get up? No, I can't get you on this one. Like this one,
really?
They can't, because it was certain clause in there. Like they wanted to bring their artists, and they didn't want no local artists on there. So some of them groups, they didn't want us on there. And I would beg, like, come on, Rich, man, like let's get us in there, man. Try to get us in there. So Rich did what he could. And so he would get us to the radio station, be like, hey man, you want to do an interview? I'm like, yeah, man. A lot of stuff was done out of love, because like he didn't really have to do no interviews with us. Like we could have just went and just showed up. We could have just done our thing and just showed up. But he would do like radio interviews. We'd have people tune in, and man, it was just like the way I'm doing now, man. We'd be at the radio station, man, and just he'd ask questions, and man, it was just a beautiful thing, man. We'd all be there and just giving our story, man, of what time to show up, and those shows, man, like there was a little bit of fights and stuff here and there, but back then, man, it was all love, man. Like people showed up, we had real fans there, man, like that were there. Like we were there, like seriously, man. I remember going to J-Reels, we was making the show CDs, and hey man, do this or put a gunshot or a bomb in this right here. Like it was good to just sit up there and have to like listen to like the show CD and be like, oh, okay, take that out and put this in there. Like I miss those days of like making those show CDs. Oh, take this out and put this in there, or this verse, put this in there. Yeah. So it was just a blessing, man. Like Richmond really had a big role in the YTG thing. And like I said, once Nat One got on the radio, and there was really like a lot of them was like really like more interested in like Willie because like I said, he was already like doing stuff already. He already had a fan base. He was more ahead of the game already. Yeah. So like Nat One took Willie up under his wing, and that's when he had that "Get Your Shine On" song. Yeah. So he was doing that at the same time when he was with the YTG clique. So it was like he told me like one of us is gonna take off. So if I take off on this end with this, you know, then I'm taking y'all with us. Then you and Larry, y'all keep doing the YTG thing. Jarrell came in with us, and then we just kept doing the YTG thing. And whoever took off, we agreed that we would take each other with us, and that's just how it wound up being.
Damn.
But yeah, man, we opened up like I said for Big Mo, Lil Flip, Zero, Trey. I mean, it was a lot of Houston, all the Houston artists that basically came. We would open up for, man, and that's really a lot of people that they really bought. But when it came to like, I don't know, I think they brought like No Limit and Mass. Those ones we weren't on. No, yeah, we weren't on those right there. 'Cause that was a little out of our league right there. But you know, it was. I miss it, man. I really do miss it.
Hell yeah! Did y'all drop a project?
Yeah, we dropped the YTG group, the YTG project. It never got pressed up and like shipped out or however. We never really sold a whole lot of copies of it. I can't remember how many tracks consisted of that, man, but we did a lot of recording there. We never, like I said, we never really put the project out. We did a project, but it never got pressed up because it was always like, so the group thing, that's kind of how I wound up doing my own thing because everybody had a different outlook on things. Yeah. So like my partner Larry, and he'll tell you like till this day, like I was the type of person like, when we show up, when we get to shows, like, we need them. They don't need us. Yeah. And so my partner Larry was like, man, he was the type, if they tell us to be there at 10 o'clock, we need to be there at 9:30. Yeah. Because we need these people. Like, we don't show up at 10:15, 10:20. Yeah. And so that was one of the main things, like, with my partner Larry, like, I would always get on him because we was always late to stuff. Yeah. And that what made me like, man, you know what, man, I kind of just want to do my own thing, man. And then that's when I kind of just, you know, I veered off. And Willie was already doing his own thing already. Like, Willie was already doing, you know, he was already with Nat One. He had already put a project with Happy Alone. Like, he was already doing his own thing. Like, they had, the N-word was already coming out. He was, like, on another level already. So, like, he really didn't have time to really do, like, the YTG thing too much. But he performed with us when he needed to, you know.
So basically, somebody had came up, it may have been whatever you say, maybe Nap wanted somebody and basically wanted to like, invest in Willie as a solo act. Mm-hmm. And even though Willie was still down with YTG, they were just basically wanting to invest in Willie as a solo act.
Right. They didn't want us. So like I remember driving up. We took a Greyhound up there to Houston, damn. And me and Willie took a Greyhound up there, and then I took the Greyhound back. But I remember driving up there to Houston, and we went and we recorded the next day for the N-Word album. So I don't know who the producer was or not the producer, but who the engineer was. But we woke up the next morning and I drove down there and we drove down there that night. I stayed in a little room, little hotel, not a hotel, but a little apartment they had. The next morning got up, recorded a verse, and then I shot back. So that song wound up, I don't know whatever happened with the track. The track didn't make the album. For whatever reason, it didn't make the album. But the song, we still had it. Like, we still had the track. We still had everything going. But at that time, like I said, Willie was already, like, he was on his way to, like, signing with, like, Sony or, like, one of them other groups. I can't remember what it was. So, like, he was already doing, like, his own solo thing. So, I was already, like, man, like, well, what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, if this dude, like, shit. Yeah, like, yeah. But he was at the end of the day, he was way more serious than we were. He was at the studio a lot more. But then he had that guidance. He had somebody that was helping him out to get him where he needed to be. We didn't have nobody. We were just kind of just doing whatever. Yeah. And whoever get a hold of it, if it catch wind, it catch wind. You know what I'm saying? That's just basically what it was. Like, we didn't really like shopping nowhere. And so like at that time, like I was really trying to like shop it to like Ed O'Connor's and Z95, and you know, I was really trying to like get the music out, and like they weren't trying to hear it. Like, you know, if you weren't with a major label or you didn't have the money to put up, and we was only teenagers back then, we didn't have that type of money. I didn't have $1,500, $2,000 an hour for, you know, for promotion. I mean, a week for promotional time, 2 days a week, and you know, I didn't have none of that. So we just kind of just went off what we had, man, and utilized the MySpace. Back then, it was MySpace when we was using it. We load the tracks up on MySpace. It get a lot of views, a lot of songs, and then the videos and all that took off, and that's how that's how it wound up being. But yeah, we never put out a project. We never put out a YTG project. We never did that. Never did that.
Hell yeah. So when did you start? We will get back to the rap stuff, man. I'm pretty sure all this coincides with each other. Like, when do you build your first car? I know earlier you had said you were already driving at an early age, but were you already your first car was that a car that you had already was already built?
I had already had So a lot of the cars I had were cars that I bought and I fixed on them. So I think my first the first car I had, my dad had bought for me. I remember I was laying in bed one day, and I got up, and he told me, he said, I'll get you a car. By this time, you're already in high school, so I'm going to get you a ride. I'm going to get you a car, whatever you want. So I wound up looking at a 94 DeVille Cadillac, right?
Damn.
And it was white. I just saw what it looked like. I didn't know how it ran and nothing like that. So I'm in bed one day, and my dad come out. He had on a blue sweater. Let me take my jacket out. He had like a blue sweater, right? He had a blue sweater. And he had a blue sweater, and he had a one of those beanies on. So he called me, and he was like, hey, he knocked on the door. I was in the room sleep, so he came out. He was like, this is the car you want? Because I told him where it was at. So he went to test drove it, brought it back. He said, come outside, man. Let me show you this car. This is what you want. And he had it open. Door was open. Car was clean, man. Looked good on the outside, but it was the smoke was coming out of it. He said, this the piece of ass you want? This what you want right here? I was like, yeah. He said, man, I can't buy this, man. He said, this car ain't no good, man. This is junk. This ain't nothing but junk right here, man. He said, quit looking at cars and seeing how they look and see what's up under the engine. Make sure the engine is running. He said, you done had me go over here and get this piece of junk. So I'm like, I don't know, Dad. It looked good. It was a Cadillac. It's my first ride. I'm trying to mob. You know what I'm saying? I want something that I could. So then that was it, right? So I'm driving, right? I had a LeBaron, man. I'm driving. My mom's LeBaron, and I'm driving, and I see this. It was like I thought it was a Cadillac back then. I didn't know what a Riviera was or none of that. So all I see is this brown long car with a beige top. I'm like, man, that car clean, man. It had a for sale sign on there. So I kept passing by, and I must have passed by the car, man, honestly, for about a month. Just looking at it, just checking it out. So I told my dad, I said, hey, Dad, I walked in there, worried, no eye contact. Like, there's this car over here off of, I think it was Merle Street. It was not too far from where we was at. He says, it's worth looking at? I said, well, it looks clean, man. I mean, the car looked good. I haven't stopped and talked to the lady, but it's got a for sale sign. So, again, he did the same thing.
Well, what happened to the white Cadillac? Did you keep it?
No, he took that back.
Okay.
No. He was test driving it. He brought. He went and got it and brought it so I could look at it. Yeah. So he took that back. He said, man, this piece of junk right here, like you don't want this right here. So he took it back.
Okay, bet.
So he went and he wound up getting the same thing. When he got the Riviera, brought it back. Now he had a different attitude about this one. So the people that were selling it, the daughter wound up getting a better vehicle, another car, and the car belonged to the grandfather. The grandfather had gotten sick, and it was basically like a one-time owner. So I got it. My dad wound up buying, and I can't remember how much he paid. I want to say he paid like $800 or like $1,000 for it. It wasn't very much. 1984 Buick Riviera. It was brown, like a doo-doo brown color, right, with a beige top. So I got it, and I remember getting it, and I put some white wall ties. That's the first thing I did, because I was only making like $370 every 2 weeks at Taco Bell. So the little bit of money that I was making, I was messing it off on Jordans and buying stuff that I didn't need. So by the time I buy me a set of tires, my money gone already. You know what I'm saying? So I was at a mechanic shop one day, and there's this guy named Zach. His name was Zach. Actually, the guy's name was Norris, and he had a set of swingers there. I thought they was 30s, so I didn't know. I had no idea that Riviera was front wheel drive. You know what I'm saying? I just see a set of 30s. I'm like, man, how much you want for these 30s? He had like 5 of them. He was like, I sell them to you for I think it was $300
for all of them.
For all of them, but. No, it wasn't Norris. I take that back. I tried to buy some from Norris. Let me back up. It was Zach. Zach had the wheels there. They used to call him White Boy Zach. So Zach had them, right? And he said, well, give me like $300, right? So I wound up giving him like $300 took them back. Some of the spokes was clacking. So I cleaned them up, put them in the closet, didn't think nothing of it. So I called my buddy Nelson over because I'm happy, bro. I'm crunk. I'm like, I finally got me a set of 30s. Now, if I know what I know now, the 30s would have never fit on that front-wheel drive car because 30s was like they were offset wheel. Yeah. So swingers were for 30s. So that's what swingers are. They're really just 30s, but since it's a front-wheel drive, they poke out. Yeah. So I'm thinking they're 30 because I don't know nothing about no swingers. I've read about it. I've seen the ESG videos and stuff, but that stuff never made its way down here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I called Nelson over, man, and we sitting in the house. And I pulled my wheels out of the closet. I go in my room, and he's sitting on the bed. He had a do-rag on, and he's sitting on the end of the bed. And there was somebody else he was with. So I opened the closet up, and he looked at her, and he said, 30s? He said, in these ain't no 30s. So I'm like, oh, man, he about to clown me. He say, I give you $800 and my 30s right now, because he had like a 98 at the time. Yeah. He had a fresh set of Kragers on there. He said, I'll give you $800 right now and my 30s on my car right now. So I'm like, what's so good about these wheels, man? He said, man, take these wheels out. So I got them and we put them in the hallway. And I laid them down and I set them sideways. And that shaft was all the way out there. He said, bro, you got some swingers and you don't even know it. I'm like, what? He said, man, it took, after that, everybody from the hood started coming by my mama's house trying to buy them wheels, bro. Hey. I heard you got a set of swingers, man. I give you $1,500 for them right now. No, I can't do that. So I wound up taking my Riviera to a paint shop, and it was supposed to be a candy root beer. Was supposed to be the color of it. So they wound up painting it. It was going to be a marble root beer. Because at the time, my partner, Tudor James, he had a candy brandy lac with marble in it, right? So I wanted it to be sort of like that. So when I get the car back, I guess they used the wrong primer I don't know what they did, but the car wound up being orange. It wasn't candy brandy candy root beer like I wanted it to be. So I just rolled with it like that. So it was an orange car with a beige top on it. So we stopped at one of my partners, and I remember I mounted the wheels up, got them going. Now, these wheels was clacking, and they weren't like the cleanest looking wheels.
Did you have Vogues and everything yet?
No Vogues. I didn't have no money for no Vogues at that time. So at that time, I didn't have no money. I just had enough just for white wall tires. Oh, really? So I take them. Nobody really wanted to mess with those wheels back then, so they put them together, put them on. We wound up driving. I wound up going. And we wound up going to my partner Tony Magwood's house. And I put the wheels on. We mounted them up, and we had the all fours up. They helping me put the wheels on because this Sunday evening, the park lit. I'm finna ride through. I know I'm finna ride. You know, I'm on E. My gas tank on E, but I know I'm gonna ride straight up. I ain't got no gas. Money. I think I'm down to like my last 15 because I done spent everything on these wheels trying to get this going. Yeah. So we put the wheels on, man, and when I put them on, I forgot to put the washers on there. I was such in a hurry. So I put the wheels on, put the lug nuts, we tightened them down, everything was good. Boom, let them down. Forgot to put the lug nuts on the front right one. So I'm riding, mobbing. I done rode down Hillcrest. I done rode through TCLs, and everybody looking like, man, who? I could just see everybody out looking. Man, who is that, man? I'm riding, boy, I'm riding. 30s clacking, swingers clacking like I'm riding. I get by Taco Bell where the Taco Bell used to be at on Leopard, and my swinger fly off. Bam! Swinger go all the way down the road, man. Gone. Damn. So I'm stuck. I done spent all my money up already by this time. I don't have no money left. So I remember a guy came over, helped me out. He helped me out until the following week. The guy's name was Leonard. He stayed like a block away. So we towed my car to his house. He fixed the studs and all that. And I was back on the road again. So that was my first official slab right there. Like, it was just a candy brandy wine. I think I had some bang in it.
Oh, I asked you had some bang in it.
Yeah, I had some bang in it. I had, at the time, they didn't have solo barracks. I think they still had the round ones. They didn't have solo barracks. But I had some bang in there. And that's what I was known for, man. Like, I spent a lot of my adolescent years, man, I spent messing with amps and speakers, and I knew I hooked up my own stuff, but a lot of my time was spent in the trunk of a car, hooking up screens, hooking up radios, hooking up. So I had a very busy life. I was kind of keep up with because I had to live what I was rapping about. Like I wanted to be that person, you know. I wanted to be that guy, man. And so that was my first. That was the beginning right there. That Riviera, that was the beginning. And then I don't even know whatever happened. I don't even know who I sold that car to or where it wound up being. I wonder where that car is at now, man. Now that you say it. So yeah.
Yeah. So what came after the Rivi?
So after the Rivi, I think I bought me a DeVille. It was a one with the 4100 in it. It was gold. I put some wire wheels on there, gold wire wheels. Put the woman and grill. Put the fifth wheel on there. And at the time, of course, I didn't have no swings. I put a fifth wheel with the wire wheel in there. Oh, really? So I had all 4 wire wheels and then put the fifth on that one. And then from there, I bought another Riviera. We painted that one white. I put a fifth on that one, put knockoffs inside that one. And I think I wound up selling that one. That one had a Big Daddy grill on there. So at the time, I think I bought the grill I got the grill off of a Cadillac, and we modified it and put it on the Rivi. So I was still coming down, but I had knockoff wheels. So I was just determined to get me some swingers. I had to get me a set of swings. And I think after that, I did the DeVille, the red one. I put choppers on it. And again, all 4 with blades, and then put the fifth wheel blade in there.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Had the rip end on there. And at that time...
Was that one candy red?
Candy apple red with the white top. So when they was doing like pop trunk and like neon signs, like mine was like I went to like a real neon place. Like they didn't make like a sign for me. Mine were like actual neons. And I remember breaking those, because like with those neon signs, if you break one piece, just a corner, the whole thing, because it's filled up with like a chemical. Yeah. So like if you break a bulb, like it's just like a light bulb. You break the end of it, the whole thing breaks.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So it would be times where I would lower my trunk and that banger hit, and I'd break a piece of the glass and it'd be out. And so I spent a lot of time at that neon place. So I wound up running into a buddy who was working for a neon spot, and he would make them for me. I would tell him what I needed, what size I would need it, because back then it was expensive, man. I think it was like $100 per letter. So RIPANT, you could imagine that was $600 easy just on that. That was before the transformer. That was before the plexiglass. Like it was a lot that you had to do back then, you know. And then they started upgrading and started making the actual signs because people was breaking the neon lights so much. At that time, I told him, I said, look, man, I want RIPANT in there, but I want the letters. I don't want like little letters, because everybody that was putting letters in their trunk,
little skinny letters.
It was like little letters. I said, man, I want my stuff. I want it to be seen. When I pop that trunk, I want you to be able to read it from miles away. This is for my dog, so I want people to see this. Yeah. So I remember paying him. He did it at his house. And he said, your stuff's ready, dude. Your stuff's ready. So I went over there and got it. The letters was here. The letters was about this big. So to top it off, I didn't use like one of those regular transformers. The transformer I had was like this big. It was like the size. It was the transformers that they use to light up like the main big ones. It was an actual transformer that had to be plugged into a wall. It wasn't like a little small one. Yeah. So this right here, when you plug it up, if you touch it, you could kill yourself. That's how bad it was. Like it had a lot of voltage coming out of that thing. So what I did, I did some reckless things to get these cars going, man. So what I did, I took the transformer, we put it in the trunk, and we wrapped it up with black tape real, real good, and we hooked that up. So when I popped my trunk, the light was like 10 times as bright.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, man, like that thing, and I had a switch. So when I would hit the switch, when the trunk would open, man, that thing, and it was the neon green. No, yeah, it was neon green. And, man, right when I opened the trunk, you could see, like, the lights. Like, I had one guy, he was looking one day, and it got so bright, he went like he had to turn away. Like, he said, man, I don't know who did that or how you wound up doing it. He said, but that's one of the best signs that I've ever seen. So I ran with it, man. But it just got to the point where I just kept breaking, like the smallest things. I would take it out because the speakers would be messing up or the amp would go out. So I would have to reach back there and then in the process, I would hit something and it would break, man. I spent so much money over there at that light bulb place, man. It was ridiculous, man. Yeah. So then after that, that's when I bought a convertible. I wound up buying me a convertible for my buddy Ruben. It had been passed through. It had been wrecked. It was a lot had been going on with that car. So I bought it for like $1,800. I got it and I parked it in the garage for like 6 months because I just had to get my hands on it at the time. So I bought it, put it in the garage, let it sit up for a little bit, did what I had to do, and then I came to it and started fixing it up. So then that's when I bought me a set of swingers. We wound up painting it candy apple red. I put the 5th, the 6th on the trunk. Damn. I was one of the first ones with the 5th, 6th on the trunk, pop trunk. Then we put Lambo doors on it. And that right there, I was in a parade. I mean, we had my oldest daughter.
And it was a drop top, huh?
It was a convertible, yeah. It was a drop. And I remember being in a parade. We called ourselves SLABS or Us. We just made a name up. And we wound up getting a trophy that year.
Yeah.
And I remember going down Leopard Street, man, and my sister-in-law at the time, my oldest daughter was only like 6 or 7, man. And I was riding down in the parade, man, and I'm swinging. We got the doors open. People walking by taking photos. And, you're not supposed to really get out into the parade like when cars is driving. Man, people were stopping, taking photos. And this one guy, man, he actually put his kid in the car with my daughter. So my sister-in-law came out. She grabbed my daughter, and she threw her in the car. And so my daughter, like, waving and, like, looking, and she don't know what's going on. So we just kept going. I had a little stranger in my car, a little boy in my car. I don't even know who he was, and the parents just kept walking with me the whole time. And we just, and it was just, man, we had so much fun with that, man. So that was the Rivy. I bought the Rivy. And then, let's see, after that, what I have after that?
Chris said you sold that first one to LaMarcus Perry. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the red one. I saw the red one.
The one that was the orange one. I guess he meant the orange, the one that you said you don't know what happened to it. I think.
Did I sell it? No, I sold a Cadillac to LaMarcus Perry because Marcus wound up selling it back to my little brother.
Already.
So I may have sold it to LaMarcus Perry though. But
you did sell that first one whenever you sold it. You sold it with all the swingers too.
No, but okay. So by that time, the first one, them swingers was clacking already. Like
they were out of there.
Yeah, they were out of there already, and then they weren't like in the best condition either. Like. They weren't like glass house. Like when I went and got them, I just happened to be. I can't remember why I was going to the mechanic shop, but they happened to just be sitting there.
Already.
And I just saw a set of 30s and asked him if he wanted to get rid of them, and he was like, "Yeah, just give me $300 for them." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I took them from there, and that's how it went. But yeah, them swingers, man. Once that swinger fell off, I wound up selling them. to Roshan, one of my buddies, Roshan Nash. Roshan came and I sold him all 5 swingers, I think. I met him at the corner store across the street from the Times Market. He bought all of them for $600.
Already.
Yeah. So that's what happened with them swingers. The car, I can't remember. What Chris was that?
Chris Green.
Oh yeah. He probably would know more than I would because, man, I had so much going on. I can't even remember what all I did, man, or what all I had so many cars in between that, man. And then, like I said, now I bought this 68 convertible from Jaron. Shout out to Finders Keepers.
Already.
And I bought this 68, and it's getting done up right now. I should have it done by July. So that I'm keeping original. I'm not doing no swangers, no TVs, no none of that. Just it's gonna be garage kept Sundays. I'm trying to pull up at Snapcas, eat a hamburger, and chill. You know what I'm saying? A lot came with that, man. I wasted a lot of energy. It was good while it lasted. But, man, we'd ride through the parade. We'd all get together, man. And, I used to ride with, like, Benny and Q and them from the West. There was no, we all got together. There was no north side, west side.
Yeah.
Man, we got together and we rode, bro. Like, we had a lot of fun, man. We really did.
Did you put together another car after that one?
The Rivy?
Yeah.
After the Rivy... No, I don't think nothing else came after the Rivy. I don't think I put nothing else together after that.
Whatever ended up happening to the Rivy?
So the Rivy, I wound up selling it to a guy.
Was that at that point where you just were you through with the game, or were you selling the Rivy planning on buying another car to continue to end the thing, or at that point were you like already over it?
So I was at the point to where I really had gotten frustrated. So what a lot of people don't know is that we had already got the car already painted. I paid to get the car done, get it painted. We put the rims on there, had everything going. My painter was actually buffing the car. We was on our way to a car show at the American Bank Center. I'd already paid my entry fee, and I just knew because this was one of a kind. I mean, you had low riders, but you had never had no car with no swingers, no fifth. TVs. I had a TV in the glove compartment. TV. I had a TV.
Bitch, like it probably looked like it was straight from
Oh
H-Town.
man, that thing, man. I mean, everything was painted in the inside. I had a 10-inch screen on the TV. 10-inch. I had 8-inch screens in the headrest, screens in the visor, a screen that came out, pop trunk, Lambo doors.
Yeah.
I mean, it was done up, right? So the day of the car show, we trying to hurry up. He been buffing this car since like 8 in the morning. Because he done painted the car. So not only is it going to make him look good, it's going to get him some business. So we trying to pull up to the heat wave, right?
And you're finna pull up fresh out the shop. You ain't even
fresh,
drove the car yet.
Hadn't even drove it, bro.
Oh, really?
Hadn't even drove it.
With the paint on it yet.
We finished it that Friday. I brought it to the house that Friday night. Saturday morning, I woke up. This is the new Rivy now. This ain't the old Rivy with the swangers. This is the new Rivy with a fresh glass set of swangers, all that. So I had problems from the jump. Like when we took the car to get it painted, he had the Lambo doors up, right? And when he was spraying the car candy, he got some paint on the shaft. So when the shock closes, that gas got like a chemical in there. So whatever was on the paint got into the shock. So my Lambo door went down. So in the process of painting it, the shock went down. So only one door was up and the other one was down. So in order to take that shock off and get another shock, you got to take the fender off. So I had to do that. So we took the fender off. That delayed the paint job. So once we did it and put it back on, got that going, we painted it, got it going. That was on a Friday. He finished it. He sent me the pictures of the car. That was Friday. That Friday night, I drove it to the house, reversing in the garage. And Saturday morning, we agreed we get together, put the wheels on, he'd buff it, and we take it straight to the shop. So, I kid you not, man. That morning, we wake up, I put the wheels on, I got the chrome polish, the turtle wax. I'm cleaning the car up, got a rim shined up. Everything good. We close the door, put it in, get ready to go. He's following me. I drive out. The car don't want to get out of third gear. It drives, it shifts first, second, third. It's just going. So, I still could have went to the show like that, but I was so aggravated, bro. I said, man, I done put all this money in this car. His name was Jesse. I said, man, I'm about to run this off a cliff, bro. I'm so mad right now. Like, I don't even want to deal with it right now. So we wound up not going to the heat wave that particular day. So I wound up getting the transmission fixed. And then I wound up driving it. And that's when I can't remember how much it cost me to get the transmission fixed. So I wound up driving it, rode it for about a year or two. I can't remember how long. And then the transmission acted up again. Something happened with the transmission again. So I took it to Gene Brown. Took it out there. While I was getting worked on, my buddy Paul called me and he said, hey, man, I got a buddy that's an electrician out here, man. And they went to do some electrical work and he saw the car on the lift. So he offered me, I can't remember exactly how much. At that time, it wasn't a whole lot for it, man. I think he offered me like $14,000 for it. And I remember getting the car from the guy. I remember calling the guy. He's like, hey, man, I'm really interested in your car. He said, will you take X amount much down and then the rest I'll go to the bank? I said, yeah, well, we could do that. So he gave me so much in cash and then the rest, he went to the bank. I signed the title over and the transmission wasn't even done. He bought it just like that. Like the car was at the shop. Yeah. So I didn't even get to bring the car back. I signed the title over to him and he dealt with whoever the guy was on the transmission. Yeah. So then he drove it, had it, and then the car wound up back in Houston. Some refinery guy bought it. Some guy that was working at a refinery bought it. And then he brought it back down, and then the car wound up in Portland somewhere. And that was the last I seen. I took a screenshot of it. Somebody sent me a screenshot of it, and it wound up being in Portland with the doors and all that still up on it and everything.
The same exact color and everything? Same
exact color. But the only difference, they had a red rag on the damn on the mirror part. So I don't know who wound up getting it, if a gang member got it or something. But I was like, they had a red rag hanging on it, so I don't know who it was or what. But it wound up in Portland somewhere, and I don't know what happened to it after that. I would like to know, though. I'm wondering who it was. But the last time I heard, before I went to Portland, a guy from Houston that bought it and was fixing on it, and then he wound up selling it. So, yeah.
Anybody see that car out there again, man, y'all take a picture.
Let me know. Let me know. I did everything to that thing, boy.
It was the TVs in it and everything.
Man, that thing, when I bought it, man.
Was there like a DVD player in it that was like
I had a DVD player right up under the seat. And we would literally put CDs in there, man. I would have whatever. So back then, we was burning movies. Yeah. So whatever movies, I'd be riding. I had Shrek in there, man. Just whatever was on, I'd put on, man. I like to be watching Planet of the Apes. It didn't matter what it was, man. I
Yeah.
was putting it on, and I got tickets for Bang. I got tickets for
Yeah.
all kind of. So if you go to the Flatline video that messing with Texas, it's a small clip. So we was at the store on Greenwood, and Flat pulled up, and I was in my my Cadillac. I wasn't in the Rivy.
Yeah.
I was in the Cadillac, and he pulled up. He was putting gas, and he say, "What's up, bro?" I said, "What's up?" He said, "That's your ride out there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We shooting a music video. Like, you can roll if you want." I'm like, "All right, man." So I ride. I'm behind him, riding. We wind up on a Harbor Bridge somewhere.
You didn't even know Flat at this time?
Well, I knew of him, but I didn't like know him.
Oh, really?
And I just happened to be at the gas station putting gas, and he pulled up, and all the cars pulled up. And he was deep rushing and reaching his pocket, was paying for some gas, and he was like, "We finna go shoot a video, man. Get your car, let's go." I'm like, "All right, man, let's go." So if you go to the Messing with Texas, it's effing with Texas. But if you go to the Messing with Texas show video, it's a small clip, but it showed me like swinging on the bridge, man. So that was like the first like cameo, like little video cameo of one of my cars, though, man. But yeah,
really?
Yeah, man, yes sir.
Jason Mancia said, and not the Rivy wasn't the last one. He said that you had a white lack with the gold 2 Pro.
Oh yeah, see, I appreciate that, little bro. See, I done forgot. Okay, so after that, I bought a '98 DeVille. Can't even remember where I got that one from. Where that '98 DeVille came from. Anyway, I paid like $5,000 cash for that at '98 DeVille, and then I bought a set of 17-inch swingers that I ordered from Exhibits.
Damn.
And we put 17s on there, and I had some gold bullets. I didn't have the 2 prongs. I put the bullets on there.
Oh.
Put a 5th on there, and then did I have? I had no TVs in it. I don't think no TVs, no bang, just something clean. At that point, I was tired of messing with amps. I was tired of doing so much with it, man. I was just tired of messing with amps and speakers, man. I said, you know what? I just want something that's clean.
Yeah.
I don't even want to ride. I just want something that's just nice, right? So with that, now mind you, the Rivy Swinger had already came out, so I already had a bad experience.
Yeah.
On messing with rims and stuff. Them swingers, if you don't got them on right, they coming off. It don't matter if you balance them, how you doing. You have to have them on there a certain way, man, and they coming off. So they had the Bayball Bally Hoop at Texas A&M. I don't know if they still have it anymore.
They still have it. I don't know. I think they moved. They had moved it for 1 year. I think they may have moved it back. But I don't know
okay.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
The Bayball.
The Bayball. So I'm driving down Ocean Drive. So I go to the Bayball Bally Hoop, check out the games and stuff, and I'm there for about 2 hours, man. So on my way back, I'm driving, and I feel like the wheels like it's wobbling real bad.
Damn.
I'm hitting like 50 or 60. So when I slowed down, when I put my foot on the brake, the more I put my foot on the brake, the wheel started wobbling, and that thing took off. Bam, and the wheel flew.
Again?
The wheel flew. It wound up. So when you going, I guess you going towards the north, like you going downtown to the bridge.
Yeah.
When you're going down that way, there's a median in the middle. There's like trees and stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, man, the wheel flew off. It hit a bush and it wound up in the lady's front bushes in the front yard. So what I did, I didn't know where my wheel was at. I had no idea where my swinger had went. All I know is my rim is on 3s. I'm sitting in front of someone's house in front of the front yard, and I walk across the street and I see where the wheel went. I just don't know where it went. I know what yard it went into. I just don't know where it's at. So I'm looking for a 17-inch swinger with Vogues and a bullet, one of them gold bullets. This thing can't be hard to find, you know?
Yeah.
So I go to the door and I knock on the lady's door, and I don't know, maybe it might have been because I'm African-American, I don't know. So I ring the doorbell. She comes to the door and she looks, she goes right back upstairs. But I'm trying to ask the lady if it's okay if I could look for my wheel. You know, it sounds crazy, knocking on her door. So I'm looking up and down the road looking for my rim. I can't find my rim, bro. I'm looking around, can't find it. I happen to look up and she had like these bushes, man. Like, you know, on Ocean Drive, they keep their yards manicured.
Yeah.
Man, I swear, bro, the wheel was inside the bush. It had flew up. That's how fast the wheel was going. Now you got to realize oncoming traffic is coming. So that swinger went in the middle, managed to go past all those cars, and then wound up in a tree, laid up with the swinger sitting up. All you can see is the bullet hanging out of the tree.
Yeah.
So I'm in this lady tree, pull the wheels off, and I ain't got no tools, no nothing. This man stops. He asks me if I need help. He goes to his house. He takes about 15 minutes because he stays on Ocean Drive. He came back, helped me out. I only had I think my studs that broke. I only had 2 studs. He lifted it up. We put the swing on 2 studs. And I pulled out $100, man. Was going to give him $100. He didn't take it. He said, he told me, he said, you don't owe me nothing. He said, if ever you get into a problem, if you just do me a favor. If you see somebody that need help, you help them like the way I helped you. Yeah. And that was the end of that. I got the man's number, and he never answered the phone after that, and I never got it, but I wanted to I wanted to thank him, man. But yeah. So after that, I said, you know what, man, it's destined for me to leave this stuff alone, man. Stop putting because I was wasting a lot of time. I was putting a lot of energy in these cars, and it was something that I could have done. I could have been more productive somewhere else. So
at this point, you already starting to have kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was just. I was still trying to live that life, and it was just taking more away from me, man. By messing with wheels, and don't get me wrong, I still like it because I just bought me a '68, and I still like it, and I got a '68, and I'm working on a '69. That was my dad. So I got a hardtop 442, and then I got a '68 convertible that I'm working on right now. So I still got the love for it, but as far as wheels and swingers and all that, I won't deal with it no more, man. I still got my original radio on there, and that's all I want to do at this point. Now I may get the urge and maybe probably put some bang or something in there, but as of now, we just gonna keep it OG, man, and just leave it the way it is.
Already, shit. Let's jump back into the rap thing, man. So after the Y2G, what was your first solo project?
First solo project that I did was My Time, MYTYME, and that was all the beats and stuff were they were mixtape beats is what it basically was. Okay. So I recorded that all at Jarrell's house. The majority of them all at Jarrell's house. I think I did a few of them at Slow Mo's, I believe. Also, I'm not too sure. So did that. I put that out. And I can't remember, I sold a bunch of copies of that, and I was only selling those at $5. So I had an actual album cover that was done. Yeah. But I probably only pressed up maybe 200 of them, and the rest it was just I would go to Walmart and just slide them in there, and we had the cover of the CD on the actual CD, but the rest of them were just sleeves, and I'd sell them for $5. Yeah. So I was selling them at work, man, selling them, slanging them $5 a piece, and I was staining them, bro, staining. So that was my first track, and I think I had Chemo on there. I didn't have too many features, man. Like I said, it was a lot of it was just mixtape tracks that we had. So while everybody was kind of doing their thing, I kind of wanted to stay active. So I did mixtape beats, and at the time, I didn't have too much money to be buying beats because at the time, really nobody was really making really good beats unless you was dealing with Moog or and at the time I didn't know who Gabe Parker was. I knew of him, but I didn't know him too well. So I didn't know I was hearing some of his music. I mean, I can't afford none of his beats. I couldn't afford Smoke beats. A lot of that stuff I really couldn't too much afford. You know what I mean? So I told Jarrell, I said, well, let's just do a mixtape. I'll pick some of the mixtape beats, and then what I'll do, the money that I make off this, then that's when I'll go to the Moogs and the Parkers and all that. Really? So what I did, the money that I made off that, it started off just at work, just word of mouth. Hey man, I got these CDs for sale, man. And then next thing I know, it started off with just work. I sold 30 CDs quick, just like that. Everybody from the job bought one. Boom. And then from there, I started with family members. Boom, they start buying. And then people start telling people, and next thing I know, people was calling me, hey man, you got that CD, man? Where you? And then it just started going from there. And then from that point on, everything just took off for me. It just really but I accumulated my fan base through just friends from work. It started off at work. Because if you get your coworkers there, then that's once you got coworkers and they love you, or people in general, because they're gonna love you as a person first before anything. Yeah, hell yeah. So if they don't like you as a person, they damn sure ain't gonna like you as no rapper. So if they hate you, they're not gonna. That was the thing. They're not gonna buy it. It doesn't matter how good it is. If you a-hole, they don't want to deal with you. They're not gonna buy it, no matter how good you are. So you got to be a good person before anything. So I developed a relationship with just people in general, and people would buy it. I tell people, I have people that buy my music, and they, till this day, they still got it in the rapper. They don't even like rap.
You brought one right there. I got one still back there in the rapper myself.
Yeah. So you got, but you'd actually listen to it. But I got Man, bro, I'd have, and it has nothing to do with age when it comes, but like most of these old cats that were raised, like, you know, the Marvin Gayes, and all, they don't listen to the music that I got.
Yeah.
But they would just buy because of who I am. Just because. Now, I know I don't like it, but I'll buy it, you know, because of you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't buy it. So I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know, I had people going to my album release parties that probably be in bed by 8 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? But they were there. They'd stay up and take a nap to go to my album release party. So the love start with the person you are before anything. And then from there, sky's the limit. That's where the support come from. Like, man, you got a lot of support everywhere. I got this thing that I play with my kids. We got this thing that we do. So when we go to the mall or we go anywhere, we count how many people that I've run into. So we just literally go get something to eat, man. And my middle daughter is the one who came up with it. So when we walk up, she like, Dad, as soon as we get there, we barely get out of the car. I'm barely like, hey, what's up, Jay? What's up? Dad, that's one. Man, by the time we leave, I ain't kidding you, man. I done ran into 100-something people, man, by the time I leave. My wife hate to go anywhere with me, man, because we can't never just go somewhere. We go out of town and I run into somebody. Like, I tell us just the love I get, man. Like, that's you get a lot of love. You show love, you get love. You know? So man.
Yeah. So what after you got the bread from selling the copies of the My Time project, what's your next move?
So after that, I wound up. I did the My Time album and then made some money off that. And then what I did, I went and invested. This time, I went and invested in like I did I Go Hard. That was the next album. That was another mixtape.
Okay, was that wasn't original?
That still wasn't original. Okay. But what I did, I took that money and I went and pressed it up. I was able to press up. So now I don't have them just inside the little sleeves no more. Now you got the actual cover. It's in plastic. It's wrapped up. It's legit now.
Retail ready.
Yeah, they ready now. Yeah. And I think I want to say I even bought a barcode to go with it because I was planning on trying to like put it in Walmart or something, but it was too much to go behind because those beats weren't actually mine. So that's what happened with that. So I took that money. And then that's with the YTG, I mean not YTG money, but with the My Time money and the I Go Hard money, I took that, and then that's when I did the Misunderstood album. We did the Misunderstood. So with that, while I was doing the mixtape stuff, I was buying beats from like Moog and them, you know, and I would just store them up.
Really?
And then we would record and do tracks and do things, and we were supposed to come out. So some of those tracks that I had on the Misunderstood album were supposed to go for the YTG album, but of course we never was on the same page. So what I did, some of those beats that I had, I took and I put them on the Misunderstood album. That's why it wound up being a double disc. It was only just going to be a one disc, but it was so much tracks that we had did from the YTG album. I had like 6 or 7 tracks that we had did with YTG.
That had nothing been done with them yet.
Had nothing been done with them. So we had already paid for the beats already. Like I got with Moog, and we did a lot of recording right there when Moog had his spot right there off of West Point. We'd be in there till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, man, recording, like recording and doing things there, man. So I took that, and that's when I jumped into the Misunderstood album. That's why I wound up being a double disc, and that's when I really did what I did. That's when I started venturing off, and I finally had accumulated enough money to where I can go and buy. I was able to go and buy beats. Actually go buy beats from actual artists. That's when I hooked up with like Gabe Parker, and then that's when I hooked up with like Johnny Moog and and then Slow Mo's and all that. I had the money to do that, and then that's when we went from there. That's when the Misunderstood album went from there. And that album was dropped in 2010, the Misunderstood album.
What was the singles off of that one?
So that one had the Get Like Me on that one.
Bad.
That had the Doing My Thing was on that one too.
That's what I'm looking at right
now. So those were the main tracks. So the Get Like Me video, or the Get Like Me track, that was produced by Gabe Parker. He already had the hook already on it, and I said, man, this is going to be a hit. Like we gotta capitalize on this. The ones with Moog and Parker were like, we gotta capitalize on this. Like, there's got to be a video. So the thing I've been blessed with, man, when I hear a beat and I hear a song, I already know what to do with it. Like, when somebody make a beat, I already got a hook in it already. I already got a marketing scheme for it. I already got a video for it. Like, I got stuff now that I bought from Moog and all them that's gonna go on a new album that I got. And man, it's gonna be fire, but we're not gonna get into that just yet. But yeah. But anyway, so I took that Misunderstood and started flipping from there. Then that was the first album that I loaded up on like iTunes, Amazon, and Zune and all that. And then from there, I said, you know what? Let me try and put the I Go Hard, and let me try to do the My Time. So we loaded all those up, and all those were on there.
Oh, really?
So it took off from there, man, and we just started moving from there.
I'm looking at the video credits for Like Me, and it says something about Freddie Records. Does Freddie Records, did they have anything to do with that project?
So at that time, Havo G had shot the Get Like Me video.
Okay.
So Havo G, so what happened, Steve Gonzalez, which was Havo G's partner, was real good friends with Gabe Parker. At that time, Gabe Parker was kind of like with Freddie Records. They was doing like the little
Freddie Herb thing?
Yeah, like with EMAC and all that. Like,
Oh,
all
really?
that was going on. So they still had that little relationship. So I knew Steve already. Like I was supposed to sign with like the little Freddie record thing and do that. But it just didn't go through like how I wanted it to. So then I just stayed solo, just stayed doing my own thing.
Alright.
So at that time, they were working for Freddie Records when they came and shot that video. So
Alright.
that video, a lot of people don't know, but Havo G and Steve got together and they shot that video together. And I think I wound up paying, I can't remember how much I paid. It wasn't very much, but they split it together. It was both of them there. So it wasn't like just Steve doing it by himself, Havo G. They both were there. Havo had his hand in a lot of it, though. Havo was there, like, doing the majority of it. But when we did the Get Like Me video, we shot it off of Park Street. And, man, I had so much love, so much cars, the boxing gym, all that came into play. I even had my boss even went over there to go check it out, man. He went. So, like, it was crazy because, like, when I was at work that week, I shot that video, and people were walking by, like, looking at me like, what are you doing here? Like, because that was like one of there was a lot of videos that came out of the city, but like this was like real professional looking,
next
like
level shit.
yeah,
That's
like
what
it was
Havo
like,
saying on his interview too.
damn, like this is, this was like it was one of the first. So Havo's the one who kind of came up with the majority of the stuff. Like he got the rooftop. I remember having a sign at the Best Western rooftop. I remember, and I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the behind the scenes, like me and Heavy Hands, we up in the elevator. I don't like elevators, and I don't like it being on a rooftop. So if you notice, if you go like to the behind the scenes, I'm on there and I'm rapping, but I'm stiff, like, cause they telling you like if that wind blows you off and you fall off, that's on you. We had to sign waivers to do that, like, and I was up there like on the corner, like Havo was like, well, I don't want you to be right here. I'm like, Havo, I can't get that close right there, cause if I slip off, I'm done, man. Like I don't want to be up here from the jump. Like, can we find a car garage or something like that, something different, you know?
Yeah, I think that was the one that Havo said you paid $1,000 for that video. And that was the one he got the jet, he got the boxing gym and all that stuff.
I sure
like
did.
that.
Sure did. Yeah, man. That was one of the main videos, man, that I did. Yeah, we got the jet. He set it up with the jet. And I still keep in contact with the girl, Brianna Blair. She was the one who she was a model or something at the time. He got her. He put everything together. That right there.
Hell
He did. Yeah. Shout out to Havo G. He's a pioneer. And he, as you could tell, so what Havo G did, he put the light. I was already here, but what he did, he put that light behind me, man, and he just brightened it up, man. Like it just made me look that much better, man. So he's real good about. He's got a mind that he's good at what he does.
How did you end up linking with Havo G?
If
you recall,
man, it might have been at a show. It might have been. I really don't even remember, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been around a lot of music scenes. He had to be somewhere where I was at, and he knew of me and I knew of him, and then we went from there. But I can't really recall like when we actually first met. Like it was, and it'll probably come to me later on. But yeah, it's been a while.
For sure. And the Doing My Thing, that was on that project too, the Misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. That was on the Misunderstood album. That right there was produced by Johnny Moog, of course, and that right there was a hit too, man. So with that one. I had Ryan Bazan shot that video, right? So Bazan so I was trying to find a video guy. I wanted to use Vendetta, but it was out of my price range at the time. I didn't have that type of money at that time for a video. So I really wanted Vendetta to shoot my videos, but they were already on some like next level type stuff, right? So I said, man, who's next up that can do a video for me that's decent? So my buddy Will, he used to ride with the Rough Riders. They did a video, like a burnout video of like the Rough Riders, and he said, here, this guy is pretty good, and he works on base. He works for the military. Oh, no, he's ex-military. He's in the military, so he's easy to get in contact with. So I said, all right. So I called the guy, man, and we got up talking. He came over to the house, and I remember sitting there, and we're going over the song, and I'm telling him more or less what I want. So he's the one coming up with everything. So we didn't even know he didn't even know how much to charge me because he had never. It was both an experience for us because I had never used him. I had never seen none of his work, but exception it's different between shooting a music video
and shooting a video
and just
like,
shooting a little small
recap.
Yeah,
almost,
that's all it was. So like a little like commercial. So he
Yeah.
was used to like he went to school for like doing like commercials. He went to school for like doing like movies. So there was a big difference between the two. So I asked him. I was like, well, how do you charge me? What do you charge me? He said, well, we'll just come up with something. We'll figure out something. I said, all right. So we shot the video, man. We wound up doing it. And he kept the video for about a week. And then when he sent it to me, I mean, my heart dropped, bro. I was like, man, this video, because he was, at that time, like, he was one of the first ones with a 4K. Oh, so, really? Like, nobody was really, like, shooting in 4K. That was one of the things. And his editing was on point. And he was just barely starting off. So he wound up charging me $300, I think, for that video. Yeah, I won with that one. $300. But that right there, it took off. And he'll tell you to this day, like, he was not even in the business of even doing music videos. That's when Life came in. He started using Life. Then he started using Twinoski. And then it was J Boogie. Like, my video was the first video that he had ever shot, music video. And then it took off from there. Then he started, now he's doing stuff for like La Conquista. He's doing like big stuff now.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But it started off, and then it got to the point, I don't even think he does rap videos anymore, period. So now he just sticks to just like reggaeton, Spanish music. I tried messaging him the other day, because I got some stuff, another project that I'm dropping, and I wanted to try to get to see more or less what I wanted to put out there. And I told him, I said, I messaged him. He never messaged me back, so I tried calling, and his number's off. So I tried looking him up on Facebook. He ain't on Facebook no more, so I don't even know if he's still shooting videos, but he was one of the first ones to do that Doing My Thing video and that. And so going back to the Get Like Me video, I don't know how much views that thing had, but in the process of us starting a new YouTube page or doing something with the YouTube, somehow, I can't remember how, but they got in there and they deleted the actual views. So, like, I was already like it was something like almost 20,000 some views, and it got deleted. Like, so we had to start all over again. Yeah, man. So, like, I think my views would probably be bigger than that, but I just never really, like, promoted it. Just people would go to it the first, couple of months we promoted, and then I was on to the next project, and that's how it went from there. So.
Did you do an album release party for Misunderstood?
Yeah, I did an album release party. I think it was December of 2020. So with that, DJ Coop was actually the DJ on that one, and I remember. So I got with Lil Rich, and I told not Lil Rich. I got with Time Warner, and I was trying to see like what UFC fights were coming on. I was trying to find a date to where nothing was going on. So I went up there to Time Warner. I think it was Time Warner or Kate, one of them, and I talked to. I said, "What is it that y'all got going on? Like, is there any boxing going on? There was nothing going on that particular Saturday, right?" So I said, "Okay, well, this is the Saturday I think I'm gonna wind up doing it. No concerts, no nothing. Nobody was throwing nothing." So I'm like, all right, man. So I start promoting, right? I start promoting. I got my date set. I set my Facebook event. This is what we rocking with, man. We're going to set up flyers. We're going to do it. This is the date we rocking with.
Hell yeah.
So I'm at work, man, and I'm promoting. Every day I'm promoting, and I never forget, man. Man, I wanted to cry when I heard it. So we got the radio on, right? And I'm up there. I'm working and I hear, like, the radio comes on, and we listening to 102.9, I think it was. And somebody's bringing down Mike Epps the same day of my album release party, right? So it's like, J-Stylez is good, but Mike Epps is on another level. So are you going to go to J-Stylez album release party, or are you going to go to Mike Epps? So right then and there, like, my pride just, like, shot down, man, because we had already been playing. We was, like, 3 weeks in promotion.
Damn.
So I'm like, there's nothing that can stop this right now unless somebody throw a monkey wrench and bring down.
And that monkey wrench came flying
that monkey wrench came in, bro. It came in. And so we promoted for like almost 3 months, right? The Mike Epps came that same exact day. So I had to go back and listen again, and I'm like, did I hear what I think I just heard? Like, Mike Epps is coming. So it just shot my pride down. But I said, you know what? The heck with it. I'm still going to promote it. I didn't know where they was going to have it at. I didn't know nothing. I just knew. I said, man, if they don't show up, they don't show up. But this is how the mind works. I was already in a slump already. Like, man, ain't nobody going to show up. I'm wasting my time. And I'm a nobody. Like, all that, So then I find out that the Mike Epps show is right downtown where the Havana is. And my show's not gonna start till like 11. He starts at like 7 or 8.
Oh, really? That's what I was gonna say too. Hell yeah.
Ends at 9 or 10, right? So when people leave, they're looking for somewhere to go.
Hell yeah.
Selena Auditorium's right there, the Havana nightclub. Now, mind you, when I asked, so whenever I throw a show, I always wanted the show to be professional, right? I wanted to make sure that the people was comfortable when they came to my shows, because the people that I was bringing, like, rap already gets a bad vibe already as it is.
But you're bringing people from your work and stuff.
I'm bringing people that I'm not just bringing
the rap
folks
community.
from my hood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bringing just the gangsters, the killers. I'm bringing doctors. I'm bringing lawyers. I'm bringing people that's gonna spend some money. So I want to make sure that they're comfortable where they at, because that was one of the things whenever I was promoting it. The first thing they were saying was, "Hey man, I don't have to have a phone book on me, right? Like, in case I get stabbed." I said, "No, man, it ain't gonna be nothing like that." So it just so happens that my wife's brothers, so my wife's brother's wife's brother, which I guess he's a police officer, right? So I called him. I said, "Hey, Raymond, I need a favor, man," but he's out of precinct Robstown. So I said, "Hey, man, is there a way you can get a hold of some some cops to get?" So anyway, they wound up doing an album release party for me. So I paid them. Everybody got paid, and everything was good. No fights, no nothing. Everything was. We did promotion. We did everything right. So I remember because I got a shirt made. I took it to the trade center and I got a shirt made of my dad. And I remember everybody I knew people was gonna show up, but I'm getting the messages saying, "Hey man, I can't make it. I might not be able to make it, blah, blah, this and that." People that I thought was going weren't going after all. So like my wife and them at the time she wasn't my wife, she took off. She went off. Her, my brothers, my sisters, they all went and they got there, right? So I'm at the house and I got butterflies, bro, because I'm thinking like, is anybody gonna show up here? Like, I'm wondering how it's gonna be. And then this time, by that time it's almost 11 o'clock. We're gonna get the show rolling about 11:30, 11:45.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I wonder if anybody's there. So I remember messaging DJ Coop, right? And it just always stay in my mind because I had my clothes laid out and I'm just like, my mom's in the room, sleep. And I'm thinking to myself, by this time my dad's already gone already. So I'm thinking like, man, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, should I be leading this or should I just be on the back end? Should I just wind up being just a regular rapper? Or am I supposed to be leading the city like what I think I'm supposed to be doing? Because we can do things and think that that's what we're supposed to be doing, and the whole time that ain't it.
Yeah.
So I remember messaging Coop and I texted him and I said, "Hey man, how is it looking?" And it took him. He never messaged back. It took him a while to message back. So I'm there, laying my clothes out. I got my stuff starched. I'm like, man, it is what it is. If they show up, they do. And if not, it is what it is. So then he messages back finally when I'm putting my clothes on, got my cologne sprayed, grabbing my keys, about to take off. Everybody's there already. My sister-in-law, all my family members, the co-workers that were going are already there. And he put, "It's packed." He put PAAAAAAAAAACKED. I'm like, woo. So I get there, man, and when I pull up, there's a Bentley like in the front, right? I'm like, man, whose Bentley is this? Like, who is this?
Yeah.
Who are these people, So when I get there, I walk in and it's like, because I guess there were some lawyers and stuff that were there. When I walk in, it's like the spotlight came on. They had they were, Have You Heard was there. They were filming the artists that were there. You had the Johnny Moogs. You had the Loudmouthers. There was all the art. And bro, when I walked in, the place was packed. I was like,
damn.
Look, bro, it's a feeling that if you ever, for any artist who have ever done any type of local music, because you know how it is here, man. Like, if you're not really up there, it's hard to get people to show up, man, in these days. Like, they don't really never know. They don't really respect the value of you until you make it to that level. So for an artist like me that hadn't really made it real big, I was big enough but not that big, I wasn't expecting that. And the place was packed from front to back. And it just kept getting more and more and more packed. And it just wound up being the best show ever, man. Like, it wound up being the best. So it got so bad that the bar ran out of drinks.
Damn.
They ran out of drinks, man. And I remember the guy's name was William that actually threw the show. And he said, man, we took a gamble with you. Like, my show was like the first rap show. I set the trend because nobody had ever thrown a rap show that's a lawyer. Like they used to like drinking like Scott and
Yeah,
Dutch and drinking. You know, they're not with that Crown and Coke. And so when we got all these folks here, they wasn't used to serving no Crown and Hennessy and they pulling out stuff out the vault that they don't normally do, you know. So I think by the time they was done, man, I think he wound up with like 2 or 3 of those what are those like little orange juice drinks. That's all he had left. He said, man, the bar y'all wiped us out. Like they had people hanging on the bar, yelling and screaming and, hey man, give me my next drink and all this and that. It was just, you know, it was just so then I always remember there was a family that came to go. They came from San Antonio, a guy and his wife. And they came from the Mike Epps show. And she said, I had never heard of you. She said, me and my husband were trying to find something to do. She said, and everybody was talking about this J-Stylez album release party. We didn't know who you were. She said, so me and my husband we just went to go check it out. She said, and I'm going to tell you, she said, this was the best show I have ever been to. Like, it was so professional. And till this day, that lady and her husband still follow me on Facebook. I can't remember her name. She's probably watching right now. But they follow me on Facebook. They bought all my albums, everything. It was crazy, man. Yeah, that night, I think I wound up taking everybody out. We went to IHOP. I think I wound up spending like $900 on like the bill. Like, we did good, bro. Like, I sold so many CDs, man, that day. That night, everybody was showing love. I had CDs pressed up. Havo was already selling CDs for me. Everything was everything. Everybody got paid up. The security got paid up. Everything was done properly, bro. Like, it was good, man. I didn't charge nothing at the door either, man. It was a free show, you know. Yeah. But I sold like all my. I can't remember exactly how many I pressed up. I pressed up just enough for the album release party. I sold out that day. I had to like, because I wasn't ready. You know, a lot of times we don't be ready for stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We always think in our mind, like, man, I'm not going to sell as many CDs, man. So I only pressed up like maybe like 500. Yeah. I sold all 500 that night. Like, sold like out. It was crazy, man. Like, crazy. Yeah, so it was just one of them things, man. Like, you know, I've been blessed, bro. I really have. I really have.
So after the Misunderstood, what comes next?
So after the Misunderstood, that's when we do the Big Business. It's the Big Business album. So I dropped the Big Business album, and with that, I took.
Give us the whole backstory and like the concept behind like the Big Business, the photo shoot with like the suit on and everything. Like this ain't the J-Stylez that we see on the album cover with the baseball jersey or whatever. This is Big Business now.
It's different now.
Give us the whole story behind that.
So I had a crew with me called Have You Heard, and they was the ones that was doing my photos and stuff. So shout out to Have You Heard, man. It was a group of three. It was three. It was a brother, two brothers and a sister, and they all went to school for something. I think one of them went to school for like the music. He was doing like engineering and stuff. So that was the one. So it was like a one-stop shop. So the oldest brother, he was like into like computer technology type deal. So he was the one who pressed up, like put my stuff like online. And then I had the sister who did like photography. She went to school for photography. So she did all like my MySpace my Facebook photos. And then the recording part was with the other brother. So it was all one-stop shop. Like it was, I'm telling you, when God put stuff in play for me, like it was.
They were based out of here in Corpus?
Yeah. Have you heard HYH? As a matter of fact, they were one of the first ones to do like interviews, like what we doing now.
Yeah.
They were doing like interviews, and they would put it like on Domingo Live. I mean, not Domingo Live, but they had like a channel. I think it was a channel where the Domingo Live come on, or maybe like Channel 10 or something. It would air. So like my interviews and stuff, you go back to some of my interviews, like I did interviews like there at the house. They would come and set up, like the way you got all this set up, man, and they do an interview with me, man. But it was different back then. So I had this little group, this little crew with me, man. And so I in my mind, I was like, man, I want to do something different. Like this is like, I've always been about business, like I was always been business minded, like trying to find a way to make a buck. Yeah. So I was like, man, I want to call this album like Big Business, because this is big business. Like this is serious with me. Like I'm really I want to be like a corporate, like a business.
Yeah.
Like on one of my verses, I said, I'm a businessman. Stay out my business, man. And this is me, man. Like this is me. Like I am all about business. This is what I'm about. So I said, you know what, man? Let me go and get me a suit and let's try it. So what we did, I called one of my buddies who worked for he worked for a lawyer, but he was like a private investigator, right? So I asked him, I said, hey, man, is there a way that I could use y'all's office, and that's the office that we use. He was like, yeah, man. He said, just come on in, man. And then, you know, I said, I needed to look like a business attire. Like, it had to look like business-wise. So we went downtown, and we took a bunch of photos, and I just picked from them. And I tried some without a hat. I tried some with a hat. I tried some. Well, we took maybe like 100 photos, bro, and I picked from it, right? And I said, you know what? I'm going to call this album. We're going to call this album Big Business. So it was like clockwork. So this is before I had my son. This is before, like, my daughter was really, like, my oldest daughter was, like, in high school and, like, really involved in sports. Like, every other Friday, it was a job. So I'd get off work, and then Friday night, it was like clockwork. We go and we record. I would get, like, 2 or 3 tracks done at that night. He'd do a little pre-mix, and then we send it off to whoever and get it mixed down.
Yeah. Who was doing that most of the production on that one?
So on the production on that one there was different people that was involved in that one. So Moog, of course, you can't have an album without a Soul Monster track. Like, Soul Monsters is gonna always have a role in whatever I do. Gabe, of course, was on there. Let me look at the album.
And shout out Pete Luna. He said he remembers seeing the Get Like Me video on the public access channel.
Yeah, public access. He sure was.
That's what I was going to say,
Pete
too.
Luna, yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to get into that, too. Pete Luna, yeah, that's my boy right there, man. He was on that last video, the last video that I done, the Check Yourself with Creon. Those was his cars that we used. Yeah. Pete, that's my boy, man. So the All Out War, that was produced by, of course, Plex, which is still Soul Monsters. And then the Shut 'Em Down, that was Gabe Parker. Dirty South. That one, man, who did the Dirty South? Oh, that was the guy from Have You Heard Creek. He did the Dirty South, Far Away. So this is a mixture basically of Gabe Parker. We had Johnny Moog, which was, of course, Soul Monsters, and then Slow Mo. Slow Mo was on this too. Let's see who else is on here.
Any QB tracks on there?
I've never gotten a QB track.
Oh,
never
really?
bought a QB track. I got folders and stuff from him. But I've never. So QB was always more of with the sampling. Like, I was more like, he's more like the New Yorkish style.
Already.
So I'm more like a Southern type deal. But QB got some fire though. I just haven't had a chance to really link up with him. It's just timing's been off, man.
Already. So
the production from that is mainly consists of like Gabe Parker, Moog, and of course Slow Mo. Like, those are the main 3. So with this album here, man, so with my new album I'm dropping, I'm not going to put a date. I'm not going to say nothing, because with this album, I went through so much with this album. So what I've learned is to never do nothing, don't premeditate anything, right? So what I would do, I would put the album out, and I was only like 5 tracks deep. And I was already promoting the album, right? So people were waiting on the album to come, and it never came. So what wound up happening, I was recording tracks like crazy. And then when we got ready to mix them, vocals would get lost, and then this would get lost, and all this. Then finally one day, I can't remember who I sent like 3 or 4 tracks to get mixed down, and everything wound up getting lost. So that prolonged everything, man. That like made everything even worse, bro. Like, so everybody was waiting on the album, and it seemed like it was never gonna come, man. I would wait to send tracks off to get a mix, then the mix wouldn't be right, and then I'd send it. So I told myself, from here on out, once the album's done and everything's done, once you see that album cover, you'll know that I'm done. Because I'm a fond believer that when you put something out in the atmosphere, man, like, people, they may see it and they can hate on it. Like, man, I hope that album don't drop. I really do believe that. Like, and I think that's what happened, because I went through so much problems, bro, with this album here. Like, it was.
Talking about the Big Business project?
Yes, it was. That's why it took so long. So I promoted for like a year before it even came out. And I remember Roland Winston, he was like, man, when you gonna drop that album, man? Like, Big Business been coming out for a year. It's been 2 years already, man. When is Big Business coming out? You know, he was always messing with me about it, man. I'm like, man, it's coming, man. It's coming. But people didn't know in the background of what all was going on, man. Like, I had so much going on, man.
All
like,
you could say was, it's coming.
It's coming, yeah. I mean, once we find the tracks. So on that Shut 'Em Down beat, there was 3 or 4 beats, 2 beats that I bought from Gabe, right? And he produced them. And the mix, I think something happened with the mix. Something happened with his computer where he couldn't get the beats, the music back. So this is how talented Gabe was. So what I did, I took him the one that he had, just the regular one. And he made a beat from scratch, and it sounded exactly alike. I mean, he made that thing. As a matter of fact, it was 10 times better. So to Shut 'Em Down, and there was 2 tracks that were 361 All Day. 361 All Day and the Shut 'Em Down, he remade those like right in front of me. I watched the dude making in front of me. I'm like, golly, man. A lot of talent.
Damn.
And he tracked them out to me and then I still wound up using those beats on there. We just threw a pre-mix on there, but it wasn't like mixed like the way I wanted it to really be, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's talk about the CD release party to that one, man.
So to the Big Business one, we did another one at the Havana again.
Being that you were already in the door with them.
I was already in the door with them. But I think by this time, they had gotten a new owner, I think. But they had heard about the last one. So, again, we do the same concept. We do the same thing. I wind up getting somebody after that. I think I had Abel Rodriguez to do the door. He wound up getting the door. And we promote and get it going. So, when I get there, there's another Bentley there. When I get there, this time this Bentley's like a newer Bentley. So I'm like, man, who is this that owns this Bentley? Like, what is this about this Bentley stuff? So I pull up.
And this is years later too, huh?
This is years later.
Already.
Yeah, this is because the first album dropped. The Misunderstood album was in 2010.
Okay.
And then after that, then this one here, I think we dropped this one. I think in 2016, 17. I think was a Big Business. Maybe I can't remember what year. But Beyonce's dad showed up and was there. So they had like a cigar room. And he showed up. I think they were there. They were in town for some business because they were doing something at the amphitheater. So I'm like, man, whose car is this, man? So I walk in and I see this kind of tall black man sitting in the back, and he's in the cigar room, and he's overseeing everything, man. So come to find out, that was Beyonce's dad.
Matthew
Knowles was there, and I think her sister was there.
SLABS?
She was there. I think she had some business going on there. Didn't know who they were though, because I don't really know about Beyonce or none of that. But he was the one, so he didn't stay long. It wasn't like he was at my album release party, but he showed up. He was there for about an hour. They stayed in the cigar room. He looked around. He didn't say much, and they got in their car and they took off. Damn. But I can actually say that he was there and he got to see. That one was that album release party was off the hook. They named a drink after me, man. At that time, I was still in the world and I was still drinking. And so they made a drink called the J-Stylez drink. It was mixed with it was almost like a Goldschlager mixed with I can't remember what it was, but took shots of that. And so with that album release party, I sold a whole box. Like that was one of the main things about when folks is drunk,
they're gonna spend that money.
They're gonna spend that money. And they might buy your CD 2 or 3 times without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? So when I get there, I got a box of CDs, and as soon as I get there, I got a box of CDs. So each CD box is $50 in a box of that Big Business album, right? $10 a pop. That's $500. So I'm in there selling CDs. It's a guy at a table. He done rented a table. He says, "How much is your CDs?" I said, "They 10." He say, "10?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Let me buy 3." I said, "All right." So I sell him 3. He comes back and said, "Hey, come here, man." I said, "What's up?" He said, "You got any more of those CDs?" I said, "Yeah, man, it's an album release party." He said, "Go give me a whole box." All right. So I go and get a box. He drops me $500 crispy bills, bro. Don't know what he did. So he takes the CD. He's drinking now. He cuts the CD box open and he starts passing them out to everybody.
Dang.
So I'm like, dang, man. I cleaned up that night, bro. I cleaned up. Shout out to my boy Green. You know, he don't hardly even come out, but he came to the album release party. He showed love. I think I got a photo with him. But it was just amazing to have my brothers and sisters there. Well, both my older brothers. All the support that I got, man. There was so many people there, man. Co-workers. And there was some people that didn't show up, that couldn't make it. But, you know, as you get older in life, you get tired with life. You got sports. You got things that go on. But it was just a blessing to still see that I had that many people that
even the people that didn't show up, co-workers still probably bought the CD.
Still bought the CD, man. So and that was just hand to hand, man. I literally, so what people don't get, so people don't understand, people don't realize, I was really out there selling them CDs. It was nights where I gotta get these CDs off, or that light getting ready to get shut off. But I never told nobody that. I never. So when you get put in a position to where you have to grind, I ain't got no dope to sell. I ain't got nothing else. This is all I got is just product. So some days I pull up to the Baldwin car wash or whoever was out. Some days I make $20. Some days I can make $500. It just depended on what kind of day it was, you know. So if I knew I needed to pay a bill or something needed to get done, or we were going out of town for something and I needed the money for it, well, guess what? I'm gonna press up these CDs, and everywhere I went, I stayed strapped. Everywhere I went, when I go to the store in the morning, from the time I wake up in the morning to put gas, I'm asking people, hey man, you want to buy? What's up, what's up, what's up? Some people say yes, some people say no, some people say maybe, but you got to be able to understand that a lot of people, they'll support you if you come at them at the right way. And then you got some people that just don't like. I've gotten people that just, no, I don't like it. I don't want to hear that. Okay, well that's cool, But you got to be able to accept no. And a lot of people don't. Yeah. They're embarrassed to accept no. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I got to the point, man, to where like I was wanting everybody to like me, right? I wanted everybody to like my music. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted everybody to like me, but I realized in this life, that's impossible. Like, somebody's gonna always have something to say. It don't matter what it is. So a lot of people didn't like me. A lot of people didn't like my music. But then over the years, you start adjusting. You may not like me, but you're gonna hear me. You're gonna see me. So I'm not gonna let you stop what I got going on. Either way it goes. It used to bother me. It used to mess with my mind whenever I had problems with somebody, or when someone would say something bad about my album, because I felt like I had to impress everybody. And I was like, nah. I don't really need to do that, man. I don't need to deal with these people, man. You either like me or you don't. Yeah. And if you don't like me, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get you to adjust to me. That's just what it was, man.
Hell yeah. So what do you come up with the Mr. 1K, man?
So I sold 1,000 copies quick. I mean, it didn't take very long for me
to come up. The Big Business project.
Oh, the Big Business album, yeah.
Already.
Sold 1,000 copies. It took a little bit, but it was quicker than what I thought, right?
Already.
So I got with Dollar Bill. Shout out to Dollar Bill, V-Flix. I got with him, man, and I said, you know what? I was watching a Rangers game, and I saw him with that little hand, the little stick that they was doing, like the number one. And then it came to my mind. I said, man, I always think about that like little hamburger helper glove, man. So I told Flix, I said, hey, man, is there a way that you could take this number one hand and make a K out of it? He was like, yeah, I got it, man. I said, all right, well, send it to me and let me know what it looked like. So he sent me a couple of them, showed him which one I like, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go by Mr. 1K. I'm going to let him call me Mr. 1K. And then it took off after that. Once I sold that 1,000, then it turned into 2,000. And then I just started, every day I was selling CDs. I was riding up to people. Man, I was getting so tired, bro. Like I did a Kinston Ghetto. Going back to the Misunderstood album, before I went to a Kinston Ghetto one day, right? A girl hired me to do a Kinston Ghetto for her, and it was for her little sister. So when I get there, the he's there DJing, right? And I get there, and they had just had a little fight before I got there, right? And so everything was like kind of in chaos. So when I get there, I only do 2 songs, right? I sing the song to the girl, and I leave. So then that was on a Saturday. That Monday, I get a phone call from this DJ, from the same DJ that was there. He said, dude, I'm going to tell you. No, I take that back. After I performed, he called me up there. He said, hey, man, what's your name? I said, I go by J-Stylez. He said, hey, man, I'm going to ask you. He said, when they told me that they were going to have a rapper to come in here and do some songs, I thought it was going to be some middle school punk. I didn't think it was going to be like this. He said, bro, you got videos. Like, you are tip top. He said, do you mind if I bring you along with me when I do teen shows? I said, man, that's perfect. He said, I'll pay you $75 just to do 2 songs. Damn. I said, we'll do it what? He said, it's every week. He said, but it has to be clean. I said, all right, cool. So then he started promoting me, man. He started helping me out and promoting me. And every Friday, we would do a teen dance. So I did a show at the country club, and I remember pulling up to the country club, right? And when I get there, there's nobody in the park. There's like 3 cars in the parking lot. So I'm like, man, I'm going to get paid either way, but I still want people to be there. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm forgetting that this is a teen show. So
they ain't driving.
They ain't got no cars. So when I pull up, I'm like, man, ain't nobody here, man. So my mind is still like, golly, I'm in that slump mode. So when I get there, when you walk up, there's like a balcony and you can see down. So I told him I was on my way. So when I got there, he introduced me, and all the kids came out, man, and I was in the middle of the kids, and they was all there. Like, they all bought CDs. They didn't have no car, but they had money. They bought CDs. Really? It was crazy, man. I did Rockport, gained fans from Rockport, took a lot of photos with kids, and and we did that for about, man, close to about 6 months, 7 months, and then, of course, it got to the point where I had to get with the school, and I had to. It was a big deal because he was kind of just doing it. he didn't go through the school to do it. He was with the school, but he didn't go through the school to do it. This was just kind of like him doing it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just come on, man, and you can make some money with me, man, and we'll do it. Because they were paying him to DJ, and then he was breaking me off for doing the 2 songs. And at the same time, promoting me. So he was the one who did the second album release party for me. He DJ'd and did on my second album release party. So, yeah, man.
What's his name?
He went by, golly, man.
DJ?
No, he didn't go by a DJ. He was like ROTC. He was like a ROTC teacher, but then he did DJing on the side.
Oh, really?
So he didn't have like a DJ name, man.
Oh,
I can't remember. I cannot remember his name. I haven't talked to him in years, man. But he goes by Man,
it's all good.
I'll find it. I'll find it out. I'll find out about it here soon. But yeah, man, he actually he put me on the map, man. He helped me out quite a bit, man, like quite a bit. And it's like I said, it's been a while since I talked to him, man, and he helped me out a lot, man. He really did. That right there took off for me too, man. And so whenever I would have album release parties and stuff for like shows, I'd recommend him and I'd help him out. He helped me out, and they go from there. You know?
Oh, really? Hell yeah. So before we talk about new music you got coming soon, let's talk about the Check Yourself video that you and Daddy Creek collabed to do.
So that right there, let me get some drink of water. So that right there, man, that was more, I bought that beat from a guy at work, man. And when I heard it, I heard the horns in it, the saxophone. I said, man, this right here has got like a more, this is going to change up everything for me, because everybody was used to hearing that hardcore, 3-6 Mafia type beat. Yeah. This right here was like something totally different. So when I heard it, I'm the one who came to Creon, and I told Creon, I said, hey, man, I really could hear you like spitting some knowledge on here. I said, so why don't you get on here and spit some knowledge? So I picked him up. We went and recorded, and I said, be ready, kinfolk. He had just not too long had his accident. I said, be ready, kinfolk. We're gonna take the world with this one. Like, this right here is gonna be something serious.
Like, we're gonna shoot a video of this one. No,
we're gonna shoot a video to
a
it.
Song.
This is gonna be something. He said, man, all right, kinfolk, I'm ready whenever you're ready. So, like I said, whenever I buy a beat, I already have in my vision of what I want to do, like the things that need to be done. Like, I already have a vision of like how I want to do it already. Yeah. So when I heard the beat, I already had an idea of what I wanted. So I got in contact with Pete, because I could see myself like in an old school car. Like, this is, and that's when I got in, and everything just started coming together. Like, it was perfect, And so we wound up going to Hillcrest, shooting some scenes in there, and that right there took off. I said, man, we got to get an actual saxophone, bro. Like, we can't just, like, you have to be in there with a saxophone. And like he said, man, I laughed at the comment when he posted. He said, man, I fronted like a big dog, man. He said, I had people asking me about quinceañeras and parties.
Oh, man.
He said, man, they didn't know that I wasn't the one playing that saxophone, man. But it looked good, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So we took that approach, man, and we wound up doing some of the video at the G-Spot. So I was there, and he was telling me, like, well, while you're doing it, just act like you're at the table, like you're talking to him about, like you're interacting, like we're really talking, like we're at the bar. So I wanted that old school look, suspender type. But that's why when you see the picture, it's like black and white, and we standing like with our. And even at that, like Creon was there, and he'll tell you, like a girl rolled up on me on like while we were shooting the video, like she rolled up on me, and I didn't know who she was. She came up, she cried, bro. She came up, gave me a hug, and that's when. And I remember Creon, he tagged me. He was like, man, bro, like. I just seen a girl just literally pull up out of nowhere, and she was with her parents, and she was kind of like, oh, she came and gave me a hug. She cried. She bought a CD. I signed it, and it was like, and Creon was there. Was like, man, dog, like that's real love. Like, I don't know too many people that have them really doing that, So he gave me my flowers on that, man, and so I rented this suit. I think we shot that video like in 2019, I believe it was, or 18, I think. And we shot that video, man, and it was something different. Like, I wanted to do something different than what I was normally used to, So I went on ahead and rolled with that, man. And I told Creon, I said, man, I know a lot of people that spit poetry, but I said, Creon, I could see you on this one, man. I really could see you on this one, like doing your thing. And so we took off with it, and it took off from there, man. And I gained a lot of fans from that itself, man. I really did.
Hell yeah, for sure, shit. Man, so what's coming up with the new music from you, man?
So, I've been collecting and buying beats for the past 3 years, 2 or 3 years, man. And I've been writing. I haven't came up with a title to this album, but I promise you, I guarantee you, man, this album here. So for those who don't know, man, I gave my life to the Lord. I'm not into the world as much. I don't judge anybody, but there's certain things I don't do. So in 2020, I lost my mom. That put a big damper in my music. I mean, I was like, with the Big Business album, everything was just like, I was like at a peak. Like, I mean, stuff was getting ready to get put on the radio. Like, things was moving for me. And then COVID hit, and then my mom passed away, and life took a real big toll on me, right? So I was in like a state of depression for a while. Like, I didn't want to do no music. I didn't want to put out nothing, right? Then I'm looking at like, everybody's coming up and everybody's doing their thing, and here I am just like, man, I'm not really doing much. I got music, but I'm like, I don't have the sense of urgency to get up and do music no more because I'm really missing my mom like a lot. Like, a piece of my life has been taken out. So trying to adjust, and so trying to adjust and get back into the music scene, it was real tough, man. So in the process of that, I prayed to God and I asked him, like, what is it that he want me to do? Like, what is it? Am I supposed to be doing music, or am I supposed to just be getting up and going to work every day? Like, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to be doing? And so one of my buddies from church, man, he came up to me and said, man, the Lord told me that you have a big platform. You need to use it to bring people. That's your gift. And so the Bible it tells us about our gift. Like, you'll lose your gift if you do. There's so many people that's in the grave right now that have slept on their gift. Yeah. And it's like, you in the grave, they just living and dying. And I got to the point to where I was like, I need to do something with this gift, or else I'm gonna lose it. Like, he gonna take it away because you're not doing nothing with it. You're just sitting on your talent. Yeah. So with all the people, so I was like, man, that was like a confirmation. He said, man, the Lord told me, man, you need to do it for God. So I'm like, I want to do it for God, but I want to make sure that I'm not trying to just make money off of it. I want to make sure that that's what he tells me. So when it comes in confirmation like 2 or 3 times. So then I'm at the store one day, and the guy comes up to me and says, hey, man, bro, you got like, you are the fire to the city. Like, you may not believe it, man, but bro, we listen to your music. Like, that was the second time. Later on in the week, I wound up going to HEB, ran into a lady. She said, you still doing music? I said, yeah, I kind of fell into a depressed mode, man. She said, don't stop. This is an older lady. Mm-hmm. Don't you stop. So that was the third time in the week. So I said, okay, Lord, this is it right here. So then I got a hold of LaMarcus Perry, Plex, or from Soul Monsters, and he been sending me beats. So I've already bought maybe like 8 or 9 beats from him, maybe a little more. Yeah. And if you know Soul Monsters, man, you know I've let a couple of people hear some of the beats that I got. But this album here, I promise you, man, you're not going to want to miss what I got to say. The video concepts, everything that I got, man. I was going to bring my son today, too. He's at home asleep. But I want to, the first video is going to be me and my son in it. And it's going to be something, I wanted something memorable. So when I make music, I don't want to just make music just to be heard. I want people to remember me by it. So like,
tell stories behind it.
Yes, because like now, here we are. I shot Get Like Me back in, I mean, that was what, 2010? No, it was before that. Yeah, 2010, 2009, and we're still talking about it till this day. So it's not like it's just a song that just went and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, y'all actually are still talking about my music, and that's what I want. I want to be remembered. So like, my real name is Marcus, but now people call me Jay. Hey, what's up, Jay? Nobody even call me by my government name no more. Like, we go places, what's up, Jay? Like, what's up, Jay? Like, hey, Jay, come here. And my daughter's like, why they calling you Jay? I'm like, man, that's my rap name. Like, everybody knows me from J-Stylez. Like, most people know me from J-Stylez. So I don't have an actual date on it, but just know when I come, I'm coming. I've been writing, and I got one move. We're getting ready to start recording. I'm gonna get back into it, and the beats, man, it's fire. But I'm telling you, man, like, you're not gonna want to miss this. I was sitting in the car the other day. No, it wasn't the other day, about a month ago, and I'm at work, and I'm sitting in my car because we get there a little early, so I'm sitting in my car, and I'm writing a song, and I got the beat up just enough to where I could hear it, right? It wasn't too loud, so the bass is hitting in the car, and there's a truck next to me, right? So I'm writing, so we get out at the same time because my shift starts at like 5 o'clock, so I get out at like 4:45, and I've been there since like 4:10 in the car writing. So I get up, and I'm walking out, and as I'm walking out, this guy next to me says, hey, man, was that you playing that music in the car? I'm like, yeah. He said, man, what beat was that you were playing? I said, man, that's some beats that I got from my album. He said, that beat was jamming. He said, there was no words on it. He said, but that beat was jamming, bro.
Oh man.
And he was right next, like just sitting next to me. So it's like, and this is just a random guy, man. So I'm telling you, man, like when I've dropped something, I make sure that everything is on point, bro. The beat's on point. Everything's on point. So the music video is what I'm really excited for, man. You're gonna want to listen, and on top of that, I really got something to say, man. I really got something to say. These past couple of years, I've been through some things, losing my mom. So I got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I really do. So you're gonna want to listen to it. You're gonna want to be there. So if you're a J-Stylez fan, you're going to want to be there. I'm telling you.
Hell yeah. Are you planning to do an album release party whenever you do get it all together?
Yes. That definitely is gonna have an album release party. I don't know where, but it'll be here pretty soon. I'll have some artists on there, of course, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it big, man, like it's 1999. We're gonna do it back like it's big, like 1999. But it's going down though, man. I'll be doing an album release party for that one. I don't got a name of it, and I'm not gonna say nothing just yet. I probably let too much out right now because somebody probably praying that it don't come out. But it's coming. Trust me.
Already.
Trust me.
Man, before we get up out of here, I know it's getting kind of late. We'll just kind of run through a little quick story, man. Let's talk about the dogs real quick, man. How did you get into the dogs?
So I've been breeding dogs since the 80s, man. Well, I haven't. My dad was breeding since the 80s. I've always been a dog lover. We've been breeding pit bulls. Everybody knows us. If you know the Johnsons on Bluebonnet Street, y'all know. Every time a pit bull got loose, they come to us. Hey, man, that's not our dog, bro. We're not the only one with pit bull. Like, that's not our dog. But I've been dealing with dogs, man, since, like I said, since the early 90s, man. My dad did it. I picked up the love for it, and then I started whelping puppies and helping them. When he was shipping dogs back then, I mean, man, $300 was a lot for a dog. Yeah. So I watched my dad actually, he was a smart businessman too. So he worked on base. Then he did air conditioning and refrigeration on the side. And then he sold dogs. So I'd see him with like 2 or 3 different dogs, man. And they'd have litters of like 13 at $300 a pop. Like, dang. Mm-hmm. So he paid the house off quick. I mean, he had the house paid off in the early 90s, man. And so everything else was profit after that. So I decided to get into it. And people already knew us from dealing with the dogs already. So I got into it, and then I made buku bucks doing that. And then I got away from the pit bulls, and then now I'm into the French bulldog game right now. So just on people knowing me of who I am, they buy my dogs. Like it's become a real big blessing, man. Like it's one of those things, man. And I don't say this to sound cocky, but when God got His hand on you, you're good at whatever you do. Like whatever I do. You know, I started cooking briskets, and all of a sudden I pick up caters. You know, like just everything that I do is like God puts His hand on it, and He works with me. You know. So with the dog thing, man, like I said, I was breeding pit bulls for years, game dogs. I just recently got rid of my dogs, but I was breeding game dogs forever. Shout out to my homie Will from Indiana. Will from No End Kennels. That's my boy. He wound up putting me on back in 2014. Got a hold of that good Zebo blood, and then we started working from there, man. I've been breeding dogs since then, but we was doing it like in the early 80s. I still got paperwork. And like I tell people, man, you can say what all you want, man, but if you ain't got no photos to prove it, they say it never happened, man. Like I got photos, you know, of me when I was young, and I had, you know, I've been doing it, man. But I'm at a point in my life, man, where I travel with my kids. My kids is in sports, and that was another thing why I kind of got away from the music. I wanted to be more of like a spectator, be there for my kids, because I was spending a lot of time. I was missing a lot of stuff. But another reason why I got rid of the dogs, it's a headache. So anytime you're dealing with money, it's gonna be a headache to come behind it, right? It just doesn't come money. It was real when Puffy and them said. I mean, Mace said, "More money, more problems." Like it's really like that. Like the more money we make, the more problems we make. You know, Biggie, all of them talked about it. But it's real talk, man. Like, the more money I made, the more headache it became, man. Like I was getting people messaging me about dogs, this and that. But with those game dogs, it's a little different, man. Like you get it, like with those bullies, they get loose. You just got to worry about somebody stealing them. With these here, man, I mean, they try to kill everything in the yard, man. So it was beginning to be a headache, man. And so I did this, real talk, I did this. So I drove to San Antonio to my sister-in-law's one night, right? And this is when I was just kind of in the world. I had a couple of margaritas and some, you know, and I'm watching the cameras at the house, man, and I'm looking, and I got this dog that actually, he's a jumper. He tries to get out a lot, right? And I forgot to put him on a chain before I left. So I'm watching him in the camera, and I'm kind of looking at the camera, make sure everything's good. And I look in the backyard, and I got the camera on the dogs, and I see him like, he's like jumping up, like he's trying to get out. So in my mind, I'm like, he'll be all right, man. I ain't gonna worry about it, man. I'm just gonna go to sleep. Now, mind you, I had already had like a couple of drinks. So I'm like, man, he'll be all right, man. I ain't gonna worry about it. And then we drive up there Friday. I don't have to be back. We don't have to be back till Sunday. So I'm like, man. So I lay down, but it's in my mind like, if this dog jump out, he gonna kill everything, and I'm gonna have way more problems than what I think. I could wind up losing my house, man. If he get out and kill something, somebody's pet, I'm gonna wind up getting sued. So that's the only thing that was on my mind, man. So I woke up in the middle of the night from Converse, Texas, and drove all the way back just to put the dog on the chain.
Dang.
And my wife was asleep at the time, so I'm trying to hurry up, sneak out, and get back before I get back, because she already on me about messing with dogs from the jump. So it takes up a lot of my time, but it's a passion. So she's like, so I'm like, all right, man. So I get home, get the dog, put the dog on the chain. He's good. He's not going to jump out. I put the roof on, nail the roof down. It takes me about an hour. I shower up, put my clothes on, head back on the road, got to Beeville. She calls. It's like 2 a.m. She said, where are you at? I said, I'm in Beeville. She got quiet. She said, what the? I said, she said, are you serious? I said, yeah. She hung up on me, man. I said, man, these dogs is running me wild. I'm supposed to be at home sleep right now. Seriously. I'm supposed to be home sleep right now. I done drove all the way back home because I can't get nobody, because he was a one owner dog. So it wasn't like nobody could go over there and just put the chain on him, because he probably would try to bite you. So I literally had to drive home. So at that point, I was like, you know what? It ain't worth this money, man. We go to Dallas, and I'm miles away, and I can't get back. I can't drive home because I know the dogs can get out and they can possibly kill something. So it was just becoming an issue of me checking my cameras and wondering, So I had to get rid of them, man. I had to wind up getting rid of them, and I started dealing with the French Bulldogs, A lot easier to deal with. They get loose. They get stolen. They don't bite nobody. They don't kill nobody. So, but I still have access to my dogs and stuff, man. People message me. I got my little artificial insemination business on the side that I do. So I got several ways that I try to bring in revenue, man, and get things done. So, but yeah.
Hell yeah. Man, let's talk about the barbecue real quick before we get up out of here.
Yes,
man,
sir.
How did you start getting into the briskets and the catering, the different events and stuff like that?
So my neighbor, man, I didn't know how to do any briskets, anything like that, man. So my ex-neighbor, she was like a competition barbecue making. She did it all, man. And she had this barbecue pit called Big Bertha. Her name's Linda Canales. And I would always hear like this, like I'd wake up in the morning, I could hear like all this noise. I'm like, man, what is that, man? Like I would always hear like so often. I would always hear it. I'm like, what is that she's doing? So one day I asked her. I said, what is that noise that you're doing? She said, oh, I got the torch. I got a torch. I'm lighting the fire. She said, I don't use charcoal. I don't use lighter fluid. I use a torch. I'm like, a torch for what? She said, I'm cooking barbecue. We gotta get Big Bertha. We gotta light the stuff to get it going. She said, I got a competition. I got to do briskets. I said, man, you know what, man? I've always wanted to learn how to make a brisket, man. Like, can you teach me how to do it? She said, yeah, just get the brisket and I'll show you. Go get you a smoker and I'll show you. So I wound up going to Academy, bought me a little smoker, a little $300 smoker, and I messed a few up. And then after that, she taught me how to do it, and then I started adding my own little twist to it, and then it just took off from there. Like she showed me like the seasonings to use, and then that worked for a little bit, but then I started using my own. I started doing research and started doing my own. Started dibbling, dabbling, messing with stuff, and I would try it myself before I let it out to the public. So I really wasn't even trying, and this is what I mean by when God have His hand on you. Whatever you do is gonna prosper. So I wasn't even thinking about doing no type of catering or nothing like that, but I would have parties at the house. My house was known for everybody coming over and watching the Mayweather fight. Honestly, I wouldn't even hear from folks until it was a Mayweather fight, straight up, and then wouldn't hear back from them until it was another fight. So my neighbors, man, I'd open up my garage, man, had the chairs laid out, had the TV set up. Everybody on the block was at my house watching the fight, right? And so I'd have the ladies inside and have the guys outside watching the fight. And so when I would smoke a brisket, I would cater for everybody, like let people eat it. And everybody's like, man, who made this brisket, man? Like, who did this, man? Who did? Marcus did it. Man, you ought to start a catering business, man. I'm like, man, it ain't that good. No, man, I'm serious. It's really good. And I'm like, all right, man, I ought to try it, man. So I'm hearing it here and there, a little bit here and there. And then at church, I wound up making a brisket for people at the church. And then they asking like, hey, man, who made that brisket? I'm like, oh, that was me, man. Man, I'm telling you. So what really took the edge, threw me on the edge, man, is what really made me take off and kind of take it serious, but not too much, was when one of my buddies his daughter plays baseball at Vets. And he told me, he said, hey, man, how much would you charge me to do like 3 briskets? And I had never really like charged nobody, so I didn't even know how to put a price on it because I had never done it before. I was just used to doing myself and just whoever would eat it. So I was like, ah, man, just give me whatever you want for now, man. We'll see how it goes. I've never done no cater for nobody, but let's do it. So he's like, all right, man, I'm going to bring you 3 briskets, man. He said, and we're going to use it, we got a tournament this weekend and we want to feed the girls like during the weekend. We don't want them to take off, so we'll feed them there. We're going to have a canopy set up, warmers, and we'll do it. I said, all right, cool. So then he calls me and said, hey, dude, I'm going to tell you. He said, we have this lady. He said, we got this lady, he said, and she's real picky about like her food. Like she don't, like she always finds something wrong with this. She said, your brisket was the best she had ever eaten. I'm like, really? She said, yeah. He said, dude, I'm going to tell you, my wife, he said, she don't even like brisket. He said, hold on. And he told her, he called his wife and she goes, hello? She goes, Marcus, I'm telling you, that brisket was the best I have ever eaten. Like, you just let us know whenever you do another thing. I'm like, all right, man, I'll let you know, man. So then it just kind of took off from there, man. Like, it's a lot of work to do. Like, people don't understand. Like, that's 12 anyway. So I did one last night, right? I got off work at 12, went and did my workout, and then I came home at like 1:45. I got home like at 1:45. I started the briskets like at 2 o'clock yesterday. I didn't finish till 3 in the morning this morning, right? Well, this morning, 3 in the morning, right? So I got home and I was in and out messing with the brisket, took a shower, let them rest, back up at 6 in the morning. I went to sleep at 3:30, woke back up at 6 in the morning, sliced the briskets down, had them ready for the cater today. So I did 7 briskets for my cousin. Shout out to Jaden. Sorry I didn't get to make the party, but I did 7 briskets for them for the graduation, man. I did it for them. So I was at home, man. Before you even messaged me earlier today, I was at home just trying to catch up on some rest, man, because
really?
Between work and, but these weekends, man, is when I find time to write and get things done. I just don't have the luxury like I used to a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, I didn't have sports. I didn't have baseball. I didn't have football. I didn't have none of that. So now, with less time, I have to maneuver my way around and get back to where I know. Because this is my blessing here. This is what's going to make me rich. This is what's going to take me over the edge. Not getting up and going to work every day. Although I love my job. I love what I do. But the Bible tells us that your gift will make room for you. It tells you that. You see what I'm saying? So I believe that God put something in us, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're actually supposed to be doing what the gift that he gave us. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're just supposed to get up and go to work every day. It's more to it. Because at the end of the day, you just live and you just die, and that's it, But you have to leave a statement. I want to leave a print. I want people to remember me. I want something for people to remember me by. So I want to be known as that person. Hey, man, when I want people, some people say, well, I don't care what people think about me. Well, I do to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. I want you to talk good about me. And if you ain't talking good about me, if someone got something bad to say about me, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it was on them. It was something that they did. Mm-hmm. Because I don't go out looking for no trouble. I don't go out messing with nobody. I take care of my family. I'm a family man, and that's just what it is. If it ain't about money or business, I don't want no part of it. I don't get on Facebook. I don't do no arguing. I don't do all that, man. I just want to be me, and that's it, man. That's just what it is, man. That's just what it is.
Man, yeah. For sure, man. J-Stylez, man. Let everybody know they can follow you at, man, before we get up out of here.
You can follow me at www.jstylez.com/Facebook. You can reach me on Instagram, JStylez361. I got a TikTok. I'm just getting new to TikTok. I had a Snapchat. Don't have a Snap no more. Got a Twitter, 361. Anything, J-Stylez361. Check out my videos, man. Comment on my videos. Share my videos. I still have the Big Business album available. It's just, it's still available. If y'all want a CD, and most cars don't make CDs no more, but I'm still selling copies in a time where they don't even have CD players, man. And I'm dead serious, man. Yeah. I'm dead serious. But like I say, man, just follow me, man. Check out my page. I've already reached like 4,900 some friends. I think I'm almost at the max, but I really need to get in there and get some of you 4, 5, 6 profilers off there, man. So other than that, man, I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the support, all my friends, all my family that tuned in. I know it got late on y'all, man. Some of y'all probably sleep. Check it out the next day, man. But I really appreciate you, man. Riding high, I appreciate you for what you doing, bro. Sure. You see what I'm saying? Because it ain't very many people out there that's really doing something for the city, man. So shout out to you, shout out to Freak for doing these little events, man, and just giving back, man. I really appreciate you, man. Real talk. But check me out, man. Y'all follow me, man, and be waiting on a new album that's dropping. Until then, just like and share my videos. Just do me a favor. Tell somebody about me. That's all I ask, man. Tell somebody to tell somebody, hey, man, check this video out. and let them tell somebody and tell somebody. Because the best promotion is word of mouth, man, and that's just what it is.
Hell yeah. If you're looking for a French Bulldog, too, hit them up, too. If you're looking to get some brisket for a party or graduation, hey, it's graduation time.
It's graduation time. Get at me.
Y'all hit them up for them briskets, you know what I'm saying?
Get at me.
Man.
No doubt. Yeah, and like I said, I just, matter of fact, one of my French Bulldogs just came in heat today, so I may do a breeding, I may not. That's C-sections, it's just like having a baby again, man. It's a lot of work, man. But shout out to everybody, man, that's actually tuned in, those who have stayed and still there. I really, really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you.
Also, but you can also plug people in because I always see you where you share a lot of other people's dogs too. That's what I see a lot of too. So that's why I say even if you ain't got nothing in the ground, I'm pretty sure he could point you in a direction real quick where to get.
Definitely,
a dog.
man. And that's what I'm all about, man. I help people out. I got people that ask me questions about things. I got people that trying to help sell their dogs for them because I have that backing. I got those people behind me, man. And I got people that buy, sell. I know people in different countries. I've connected everywhere, man. So like I said, we got this game. My daughter tell you, we got this game. Everywhere I go, I run into somebody. We can't even go out of town. I had one of my buddies tell me, man, before I go, one of my buddies told me, he said, man, we're up there in, I think it was Dallas or something. It was somewhere, it was further up. And they went for a quinceañera or a party. And he mentioned J-Stylez. And they said, oh, man, we know of him, man. He said, dude, you're way up there, dude. My brother called me one day, my younger brother. He's an electrician, and he was in Georgia. And he was working with a guy, because, all them guys, when they go and they do turnarounds, they together and stuff. So we got to talking. And he says, hey, man, my brother breed pit bulls. Oh, you breed pit bulls? What's your brother name? Oh, he's Marcus, J-Stylez. Man, I know Jay. He said, man, my brother know. We way up here in Augusta, Georgia, man, and they know him because I done sold some dogs up there, up that way. So I've sold dogs in New York. I put dogs in people's hands in Houston, Dallas, like I said, New York, Kentucky. Man, I done shipped dogs everywhere, man. So people know me, man. You do good business, then it'll come back to you, man. That one thing, I don't do no bad business. I don't want no problems. I want to make sure the customer's he's good. Everything that he do, everything I do, I try to do it right. I try to do my best at it. I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing. I try to do everything 100%, man.
For sure, man. And on that note, man, it's your boy DJ Lil King, Riding High Podcast, Riding High with DJ Lil King. Appreciate the guest, Mr. J-Stylez, for coming through today, man.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you,
y'all make sure y'all go and follow him on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff, man. It's the Riding High Podcast. We out this thing, man. Hey.